ABC Sport.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2023 AFL Premiership season.
Marks out to the right, steps on goal, superb finish. Turns, whacks it straight through the middle. Pulls the trigger on goal, and goes bang! 'Cause here it comes, here it comes.
AFL. On ABC Radio, ABC Sport Digital, and now streaming on the ABC Listen app. Look for the AFL button.
Something big is coming, I know.
Having regained their status as the league's glamour club, Collingwood arrive on the Gold Coast Splitters strip looking to consolidate their place atop the AFL ladder after another come-from-behind thriller against Adelaide last week. And the Gold Coast Suns would feel up to the task. They are virtually at full strength, apart from the absence of Tuke Miller, and coming off their fourth biggest win in their relatively short history, a 67-point dismantling of Hawthorn at this very venue last week. Welcome once again to Grandstand AFL. Welcome to Carrara, where we are expecting a sellout. The previous mark was just over 24,000 back in 2014, also for a game featuring Collingwood, and it only adds to the fun as Stuart Dew's side looks to claim a big scalp and keep track for a maiden finals appearance. My name is Brett Sprigg, and I'll call the action alongside Michael Price. Hello, Pricey.
Oh, g'day, Spriggy, and welcome to the Gold Coast. And it's like an Alfred Hitchcock movie as you look out on the horizon, and all you can see are the dark figures of the Pies fans everywhere. They have descended on Carrara and they brought the atmosphere, so hopefully great game to match it.
Unfortunately, the AFL's official airline partner let a few Pies fans down, and there are plenty left back in Melbourne that didn't make the trip. So if it's a couple of thousand out from a sellout, then we may be in danger of not having a sellout, or at least a best crowd mark for this venue. The team news, by the way, no late changes for either side, so no change from last week's side for Gold Coast. Rory Atkins is again their sub, while for the Pies, Billy Frampton comes back in. He replaces Ash Johnson, who's omitted. Last week's sub, Bo McCreary, is into the 22 for his 50th game, and Harvey Harrison is their 23rd man this week. I want to point out too that a nice moment for the family of Darren Mullane, the Collingwood champion, taken far too soon, over 30 years ago now. The number 42 has been retired since then, but tonight the nephews of Darren Mullane, who are Gold Coast locals, wore the number 42 during Collingwood's warm-up, which is they're out there now as both teams are out there doing their warm-up, which is so nice to see. Let's get stuck in. Jeff White and Matthew Primus are here. Whitey, Nick Dacos was phenomenal last week. Josh Dacos had a career day last week as well. Can the Suns match the might of the Pies tonight?
Look, they're always going to get it in their hands, aren't they, the Dacos brothers? It's just a matter of how the pressure is up the field. So the ability to try and stop their effectiveness, because you know that they're always going to use the ball so well, and the pressure from behind as well. So you've got to really try and squeeze them as best you can. And both sides in really good form. Obviously, Collingwood going really, really well at the moment. So beautiful conditions. It's going to be a fast-paced game, I reckon.
I'll wait to welcome Matthew Primus, because we've got Adelaide listeners or SA listeners joining us very, very soon off the conclusion of the Crows-Kangaroos game. By the way, at Docklands, if you have just joined us from there, the Western Bulldogs beat Fremantle by 29 points at Docklands, and the Skippers meet in the middle for the toss. More on that shortly. Welcome those just joining us through local radio South Australia to Carrara for Gold Coast v Collingwood. The opening bounce is just moments away. Brett Sprigg, Michael Price, Jeff White and Matthew Primus. Nice to see you as well, Matty.
Great to be here. Beautiful afternoon for football. And two teams one team in very, very good form, and one team had a great win last week and pushing to make the 8 for the first time.
So that's the thing for the Gold Coast Suns. They need a big scalp, and the Pies present it. It's no coincidence that the AFL schedules this game when they do, to maximise the crowd. Last time they met, round 16 last year at this very venue, and the Pies won that by 5 points. They won 8 of their past 9, in fact, against the Gold Coast across all venues, and the past 4 here. So this ground holds no fears for them. Who's your tip tonight then, Matthew Primus?
I think the Suns are going to win by a goal. Ooh. I think their style of footy, a bit like the Adelaide Crows, territory, contested possession, lock you in. That is what can bring Collingwood undone. But you've got to be on for 4 quarters, because because they can open you up at any time.
I'll give you the drum right now. If it's a goal the difference, only one team winning this game, Whitey, sure.
Yeah. I think Collingwood will, but I think for the Suns' perspective, geez, it'll be a great scalp to get.
In the twilight at Carrara, a rare blockbuster here on the Gold Coast, and here's Michael Price to get us underway on Grandstand AFL.
Jared Witts, the Suns captain, who lost the toss to Darcy Moore. Collingwood kicking to the right as I'm looking at it, the southern end. It's Witts versus Cameron. Witts gets it down to Rowell immediately. He slips a couple of tackles. Handball back to Noah Anderson, his good mate, who kicks it inside 50. Reading it best, Casbolt behind, but a slap forward. Pies defence up to it. Rove by Bailey Humphrey. He had some time, but shinned it and skied it at the same time. Kicked it into the pocket, tracking it back, doing beautifully. Will Hoskin-Elliott for the Pies.
Hoskin-Elliott kicks beyond defensive 50. A loaded pass. Knocking out the space, Jeremy Howe. He's got that left arm covered up, of course, in that brace or sleeve. He's still got some nerve and tissue damage as a result of that fall in round one. Toward the outer side he goes, off hands. In there was Collins, and it's a throw-in on the Narang River wing here at Carrara. No score in the opening 40 seconds or so.
Chance there, Bailey Humphrey, but on the opposite side for him.
I think he had more time than he realised, to be honest.
Golden opportunity, just not taken. But the pressure's on early here against the top side on the ladder. Throw in at the back of the pack. Taylor Adams tumbles it inside 50, coming out reading it Ballard. He left it behind though. Myercheck entered, gathered, then got tackled, holding the ball. Well, Ballard made up for the initial mistake, came back and nailed Myercheck, so he'll get the free kick in the right back pocket, more or less.
Short kick to find Anderson. It's been good in the absence of Tuke Miller, especially. 28 disposals, 13 contested possessions, averaging each game in that time since Tuke Miller's absence. Anderson goes on the angle here, beyond defensive 50. Collins from right half back. Short kick up the line now. Juggled down there by Swallow. Intercepted by Myercheck. And the Pies got nailed up again. The brothers Dacos combine. Nick to Josh. Going high inside forward 50. A little shove from Mac Andrew on Cox. And the Gold Coast defender is paid the mark. Good use of the body from Mac Andrew. Short kick to McPherson. Still at full back for the Suns.
He wants to go back into the opposite pocket. Finds Powell. So Will Powell, the Western Australian, went left and wants to go laterally again. So he's gone back into the opposite pocket to find Charlie Ballard, the South Australian. Here's kick. Nice little slipper. Finds Collins at right half-back, just outside the arc of 50. Now Sam Collins kicks it to the wing. Witts had the sit, did well. Got it down to ground. Oleg Markov, the former Sun, he gave the handball out to Dacos. Josh goes around onto the logo, lowers his eyes. A beautiful pass. A grass-burning pass found Myercheck. He had to get low to gather it, but took the mark on the arc of 50, slight angle to the left.
That's what we're just talking about with the ability of the Dacos brothers, especially through the backward of centre, be able to hit up those leading forwards.
And it's only early, Whitey, but no tags on the Dacos brothers. And I know a lot of teams have done that this year, and it's normally come back and bit them on the backside, hasn't it?
Brody Myercheck, 32 goals, 13 for the season. He goes out to the right of the man on the mark, strikes it nicely. Oh, it's faded left. The goal umpire gave me all sorts of hope. It actually clipped the goalpost for one behind. So Pies open the scoring after 3 minutes, one behind. The Suns get the score. Grandstand AFL.
Goalless last week, Brody Myercheck, for just the second time this year, game against the Crows. So keen to fill his boots tonight. Gold Coast will make it tough. Kick out here from Will Powell. Goes long beyond defensive 50. Out to the outer wings. Strong pack grab taken by King. Called to play on now around Darcy Moore. Middle distance kick towards a 2-on-1. Outnumbered and intercept mark taken down there as they rebound the football through Noble. Noble plays on off half-back. Room to bounce. Switches here. Back in the middle of Carrara. They'll find Maynard. Settles it down for a second. Hand pass off to Mitchell. Both players on injury cloud coming into this game, Maynard and Mitchell, but cleared to play tonight. Out the back, Lipinski in space. Hand pass back to Hoskin-Elliott. Pulls it across the face of goal here for the Pies. Witts goes up. Had some contact coming the other way. Collins spins through here. Wrapped up down there as well for the Suns is Anderson. They pile in from all angles. The Pies can soccer it clear. It's picked up here, though, by Josh Dacos, who has a flying shot missing to the left-hand side. Couple of behinds early going the way of the Magpies. The Suns are yet to score through the opening 4.5 minutes here on Grandstand AFL.
All their exits are wide, the Suns. They are the biggest boundary playing team. They love to come out nice and wide, but it hasn't helped them. A lot of turnover so far when they've done that.
to Will Powell. That's an aggressive kick coming out of fullback, and it hit the point of the centre square. David Swallow, the recipient. His kick likewise beyond centre wing. Casbolt with fair amount of space too. He launches a big bomb into the pocket, getting there Holman, and well done in the end there by Murphy, who came across and spoiled the effort of Holman. Over the boundary line, we'll get a throw in 40 metres out from the Suns' goal.
It was 2-on-1 then in favour of the Suns, so great spoil for Murphy to come across.
I've gone on the opening term. Winners earlier today, Adelaide over North Melbourne, the Bulldogs over Fremantle. Suns and the Pies, early stages here at Carrara. Back in it comes. Witts up against his former side. Nick Dacos off to Mitchell. They can clear here. Tumbled up the line here by Hoskin Elliott. Now Lipinski collected by Ainsworth over the boundary line for a throw-in on the junction of 50 at left half forward for the Suns. A reminder, of course, your texts are always welcome. 0437 774 774. As the umpire wastes no time heaving it back in. On the flank here for Gold Coast. Their attacking zone. Witts palms it down. Off the deck here it comes to Anderson. Hand pass picked off. Josh Dacos did well. Hurried kick now by Adams. Back in the middle of Carrara. It's marked by Collins.
So he wants to move it quickly. Gets inside 50. He had several to choose from, but reading it beautifully. Jeremy Howe. He's recognisable with that sleeve on, and he peels off a beautiful kick short of the wing to find Myercheck. He's got a runner. He found him. McCreary, the handball to Hill, chips it inside 50, so it goes now. Takes off. The right shoe is inside the right goalpost. Just can't fathom who got through there and got it. Was that Jamie Elliott?
Jamie Elliott,
yeah, sort of just blocked out here. Spriggy there, but Jamie Elliott on the right shoe from 30. Goal umpire did a lot of work, but he just squeaked it in. 1 goal to the Pies. It was kind of attritional in the end, but 1-2-8 leads the Suns yet to score after 6.5 minutes of the first term.
Just beautiful transition footy then from where Howe got it. He's kicked it on his non-preferred side out. Then McCreary's hard running on that 45-degree angle to set it up. But that's where they can get you. They're real. You know, Collins' kick going inside forward 50 just needed a little bit more on the fat side. It was too straight.
Poor kick, wasn't it?
Yeah. But then just the ability, the transitional running from Collingwood is just superior.
So Jeff White and Matt Primus, our experts on Grandstand AFL. Back in the middle, Rowell on his 22nd birthday. Breaks a tackle, tries to win the clearance here for the Suns. Out to meet the football, McCreary. Pendlebury, hand pass off to Chris running by. Puts the Pies back inside 50. High towards the pocket. Mac Anger over the back. And then it comes to Powell. Little kick here looking for Oyer, but it's marked by Hoskin Elliott. He intercepts again. 65 out from attacking goal here for Collingwood.
He's been everywhere early. Down back.
Both ends of the ground. Will Hoskin Elliott. 196th game in the Pies, or in the AFL. Goes high to the hot spot now. Witts stands tall. Mitchell comes through. Brought to ground down there by Rowell. Loose ball. Pounced on again by the Suns. McCreary gets there first though for the Pies and pulls it across the face to the right-hand side. So more opportunities so far for Collingwood. 1-3-9. The Suns yet to score in the opening 8 minutes here at Carrara on Grandstand AFL.
Being a little bit more dangerous with the ball in hand, or more assertive. Well, that's an assertive kick that's coming out from Will Powell. Landed just on the arc of 50 and found Roses. He wants to play on. His kick over the half-back line to Long, the handball to McPherson, and his kick is pinpoint, and it finds Jack Lukosius on the boundary line between the wing and right half forward. He's looking long. He's looking inside 50. Reading it was Cameron, but he didn't go for the ball in the end. That opened it up for the coast ground level. Roses handball to Witts. Handball over there to Fiorini. The left foot under a lot of pressure. And he bounces it over the boundary line in the left forward pocket. It'll be a throw in.
He needed to go then, Cameron Price. You called it. He dropped back, really ran hard as a ruckman to get back, but just pulled out at the last second. It could have been a great chance to intercept mark and start a chain again for the Pies.
Overcast conditions here in Queensland are quite cool and windy. Not complaining, guys, by the way. Just sort of not what you tend to expect. Pies with the first 9 points of the game. Back in it comes. Witts down to Humphrey. Moore got there first for the Pies. To intercept him. Underground hand pass again comes from Hoskin Elliott. And they come beyond defensive 50. Out there were 3-on-2. Strong grab taken down there by Ballard. Leads the competition for intercept marks. Fires the pass by foot now for Lukosius. He's just forward of the wing.
Have a shot from there.
On the commentary side. Suns go back inside 50 again. High to the teeth of goal. Most of them hit the deck. Picked up here by Maynard. Off to Howe. Quainate with a hand pass. Off to Markov. And the Pies are away off half-back.
He has a bounce and goes across the arc of 50. Bobby Hill versus McPherson. This is a really speedy little contest there. Bobby Hill, now he's got Sam Collins to worry about, so it's a 2-on-1. He loses out. Collins gets the handball away. Hill interjects and provides the tackle to turn the bowl over for the Pies. Now it dribbles out close to the boundary line. No, the umpire's going to drag it back.
Took his legs out, Bobby Hill. That was accidental, though. He was trying to keep his feet. Accidentally fell over, tripped him over.
So it's going to go back to the wing. It'll go against his initial opponent in Darcy McPherson, who goes backwards to find Sam Collins at half-back.
Best and fairest of a few years ago, Sam Collins, 2020. Now it's with Lukosius. Just thought of half-back. Pulls the kick wide now for Powell. They booed against the Pies back in 2018, Will Powell. High inside 50 again they go. Casbolt's lurking down there, slaps it down now. Trying to get something going, Humphrey. Quaynor lays the tackle as well and gives away the free kick. It was a little too high down there on Holman. But it will be a set shot for the Suns. 35 out on a 45-degree angle, or perhaps better than that.
I like the Suns off from the half-back line. You notice a few times, you called it, Pricey, they're really aggressive 45-degree angle kicks on the centre half-back, and that's allowing them to have this counter-attack really quickly. And like Matty said before, they tend to go wide, so the instructions this week have been, let's go direct.
Nick Holman, a recent 100-gamer, on the approach to the scoreboard end. Moves it all the distance here and misses the left-hand side. There's a full-butted kick. Missed the line of score. It's the Suns' first score of the game. It's the Pies 1-3-9. Gold Coast one behind. 11 going here in the first term on Grandstand AFL.
The immediate kick in. It's taken by Markov 40 metres from goal, and he wants to move on. He kicks it outside the arc to left half back to find his skipper and Darcy Moore. He wants to go long. Oh, sorry, no. That's Murphy. Headbands confuse me. Long kick towards the outer side. Big punch down to the ground level by Witts. Picked up by Fiorini. He's dumped into the ground. Good tackling effort, but umpire's going to come in and ball it up on the outer side. The Nerang River side of Carrara. 17 degrees here tonight. They say it feels like 14 if you use that vernacular with the Bureau.
I bought the tanning lotion. I'm disappointed, Pricey. Don't worry about that. Sorry for the image, by the way. Chris gets a hand pass away. Weller for the Suns goes to intercept. Lost the handle, though. Tries to soccer it forward. Mitchell over the head of it as well. Crisp. And now Hoskin can just hack it forward. It's onto the chest, though, of Sam Collins, who intercepts at right half back here for the Gold Coast Suns. Magpies by 8 points. Gets a little Carrara. Howe gets up there, knocks it to ground here. McCreary back to Mitchell, turns at the bullseye, has options on the left boot, goes towards half forward, and it's marked there by Nick Dacos. And it will mark it 52 out, slightly left of centre. Well, plays on now, gives it everything from 50. Nick Dacos rides it home to the left-hand side. Another minor score, 1-4-10 Collingwood. The Suns one behind, 13 on opening term here on Grandstand AFL via ABC Sport.
You can see what the Suns are trying to do. They're 34 kicks and 10 handballs, so they're trying to own the ball and shift it around. But if they make one little mistake like Collins did then, the Pies can certainly make you pay on a turnover.
We've had 6 scoring shots in the game. 3 of them have hit the post as the ball gets kicked outside defence by the Suns. Rove by Oyer. His handball is cut off. Now the Pies with a chance. Crisp from 50. Goes for Myercheck in the pocket. Overcooks the kick out of bounds on the full. That was a golden opportunity as Myercheck had broken away from his opponent in Collins and had the space. But the Suns in the right back pocket through Will Powell, and he just measures a pass a little bit further to Locke Weller.
Lockie Weller subbed out last week. It was tactical, of course, coming back from that recent knee concern. High to the outer side. Running start from Witts. Wins it down here. Worked forward here by the Suns. Missed out there by Lukosius, and now a tackle late at half forward. Roses was all over it on the ball carrier in Murphy. So a ball up, 60 out from the Suns attacking goal. Collingwood by 9 points here in front of a predominantly black and white crowd as Frampton goes to intercept. Oyer does well for the Suns, puts it inside 50. Howe spins out of trouble, shares it to his captain in Darcy Moore, and the switch is on here for the Magpies. McCreary marks in the right back pocket.
Yeah, well done. It was held up there by Powell. Good running to get in front of McCreary. Umpire says play on now. McCreary's little chip pass to Maynard just gets outside the arc. He goes long down the wing. Reading it beautifully in defence. Collins just got in front of Myercheck. Couldn't take the tumbling chest mark, though. Took it over the boundary line. Throw in on commentary wing.
They've done well the last couple of rebounds, the Suns. They've held them up. You can see the Pies want to keep the ball in motion all the time, but they've done well to lock it in the last 2 rebounds.
Or stoppage on the wing. Nearest to us on the western side. Back in it comes. Frampton and Casbolt both missed it. Out the back, Lipinski shares a hand pass to Crisp. He's in space, the 2-time best and fairest. Out the back, Elliott shows some good pace here towards the pocket. He was run down. Ballard never stopped chasing. Elliott keeps it alive. That is absolutely freakish. He had the goalpost for company, tapped it back alive into the goal square, ran a play, came back in their field of play and towed it through for his second goal, Jamie Elliott. Now the umpires will check this just to make sure the ball wasn't yet dead. But that is absolutely stunning stuff from Jamie Elliott for Collingwood's second.
And brilliant instinctive work. Like, just... It hasn't crossed the line there.
Review underway.
Knocks it, still alive.
And
sort of rolling toward the goal line. He runs around the goalpost, or...
Yeah, and through.
He does. Runs around, comes back. That's a goal. That is absolutely freakish.
Through by the Collingwood attack.
The foresight and the...
But the way the ball rolls too, it actually rolls slightly away from the line.
So, a second goal for Jamie Elliott. And you don't see many like that. Magpies are 2-4-16. The Suns just the one behind. 16 going first term here on Grandstand AFL. How was it almost like a basketball, or sort of keeping it alive?
Yeah, it kept it alive. But the advantage was Ballard had fallen over, and then it came back in. So it stayed into play, obviously, but rolled towards the actual goal line.
He runs around the goalpost, back over the goal line, in the field of play, and then soccers it through.
He's come from row one, isn't he?
Yeah, that's instinctive forward play, and that's the second time Charlie Ballard's been burnt when the balls hit the ground against Jamie Elliott.
There was no pressure from the stoppage then, so as good as Charlie is, that they're pretty hard to defend when they're coming in like that.
Well, he wouldn't mind the dominance of height when it comes down in the air, if the ball comes down in the air, but if the ball hits the ground, I think his heart might beat a little faster against Jamie Elliott. Anyway, the ball's back in the middle. It's Casbolt versus Big Mason Cox, who gets it down beautifully to Josh Dacos. He kicks it to Elliott, who audaciously toes it half volley style back to Josh Dacos, but it's cut off. The Suns kick it beyond centre wing. Reading it best there, Quainer for the Pies. Got away from Roses and took an easy chest mark in the end.
Isaac Quainer at left half back for Collingwood. In control of things early, 15 points their advantage. Called to play on now. High kick down towards the top of 50. Cox goes up, second bite, can't reel it in. Lipinski hand pass back to Adams, tumbles it high again down the corridor. Ellis dropped it in defence. Elliott's lurking, lays the tackle on Mac Andrew. The umpire says let's ball it up. 25 out from Collingwood's attacking goal. They have the first 2 goals and 4 behinds as well. The Suns just the one behind. 18 gone in the opening quarter.
Scary thing, 8-2 clearances in the way of the Pies here, so danger time for the Suns.
Mason Cox versus Casbolt. Casbolt gets it down to Noah Anderson. He's under pressure as he tumbles a kick towards the 50. Beautifully tapped down by Hoskin Elliott to Markov. He hooks the ball to a dangerous area. Cox was dealt with. Umpire said nothing. The ball falls towards Myercheck. He's fumbling around with it at ground level. A couple of Suns involved, including Sam Collins. Umpire surely will come in and ball it up more or less at the top of the goal square. We'll do a lot again. But congested.
That's where the repeat entries are, top of the goal square. So the Suns, it's just in high balls too. So as a defender, trying to turn your head.
Collingwood by 15. Cox out the back. Nick Dacos slaps it out of the air. Doesn't quite have the carry on the line. Almost intercepted again, this time by Bobby Hill. They can mop up in defence, though, as Fiorini works his kick around the corner. Up goes Markov in front of Holman. It's his former teammate. Kept alive again for the Pies by Adams. Tumbles a high ball back towards the corridor. Casbolt goes up, wins it down here. Hand pass comes from Bobby Hill. Off to Crisp, and that will be a third for the Pies. Jack Crisp gives them another major. 3-4-22. The Suns are one behind. 21 points. Is the early break Collingwood's way. 19 on in the opening term. Grandstand AFL. Jeff White, Matthew Primus.
And all the Collingwood players ran over to Markov. And that was his second attempt at trying to spoil it. Second effort, pick it up. But the way he kicked it back inside the forward 50 inside the V, just a dangerous position for Maynard to finish off.
Yeah, it was great play, as you said, Whitey. They went to the guy who started all that for them. But this is obviously the first time I've seen the Pies live, and wow, their ability, once they win the ball, they go. They spread like anything. Whether you're back mid-forward, they just go on the bike and they share the ball, and there's options everywhere. If you're a little bit off defensively, which the Suns are at the moment, you're going to get a scoreboard like it is reading now. It is impressive to watch.
It's almost metronomic, isn't it? As soon as the ball goes out, they are like a spider web. Bang, out. Once again, Cox gets it down, towed forward by Mitchell. It's going to half forward again for the Pies. They've got another chance through McCreary. Even tackled, he gets the ball towards the pocket. Now Frampton's on against Ballard. Coming in Anderson to help out for the Suns. Gathers the ball on the boundary line. He kicks it to a 2-on-1. At the back, Quainer. Oh, geez, I'd pay that over the top of Witts, actually, but the ball got extracted from both of them. It's stuck underneath several players, and the umpire's going to ball it up. I thought he had enough of that.
Witts come out a bit.
Yeah.
A bit.
For his left hamstring. Follows up here. Brought to ground, though, by Cox. Anderson's hand pass picked up by Nick Dacos. Volleys the kick inside forward 50 on the bounce. Flanders tries to go back by hand. A clean bowled Rowell. Gathered here by Mitchell. Now Josh Dacos puts them back inside 50. Adams didn't have enough of the mark. So it was play on. Mitchell tunnels in as well. Hand pass off to Flanders. The Suns can rebound again through Will Powell.
He just launches a bomb to the wing. It's a kick and hope. Casbolt made it a big contest. At ground level, Roses tried to slap it to Witts. He overran it. Mason Cox came in, slapped it further on ground level. It's sharked by the Suns. This is heavy, congested footy, but it's good pressure. The ball's still stuck under several. It's like a rugby maul. Picked up by Matt Rowell. Tackled into the ground. He lets it loose. Now it's Lockie Weller. He's tackled there by Murphy. And he's tackled illegally by Murphy in the back, says the umpire. So that'll be a stoppage for all the players to get into a different zone. Lock Weller will have it just forward of half back.
Great defence. It's a quick free kick, and already they're in their positions, Collingwood.
They've hit time on. Collingwood by 21. High towards half forward for the Suns. Strong grab taken by Swallow, but the umpire spotted a free kick here. Will go Collingwood's way. Murphy was kept out of it. So at left half back, he plays on by hands. Wins today, Adelaide by 66 against North at Adelaide Oval, while the Bulldogs beat Fremantle by 29 points at Docklands. Essendon Port still to come at the MCG later on. Magpies by 21 here. From left half back they go. Big kick from Maynard, that booming left peg goes to the outer side. Gathered again by Josh Dacos. Back to Pendlebury. Just works it through traffic. Nick Dacos had to work to get there. Pressure comes from Oyer. Noble back to Mitchell, off a step. High ball inside 50 again. Going out watching it. Leaving it behind down there was Ben Long. Intercepted here by the Pies. And strolling in, Bobby Hill can snap from close range and pop it through. Bobby Dazzler lights up the glitter strip here on the Gold Coast. And the Pies are all over the Suns with their fourth. 4-4-28 plays just the one Gold Coast behind. 23 gone first term. Grandstand AFL. Jeff White, Matthew Promise.
They are so clean off the ground.
That
is. Yep. Yeah, that passage there. I mean, Pendlebury had no other options but to kick it through because there was Witts there. So he's kicked it below Witts's. Instead of kicking over his head, he kicked it along the ground.
He kicked a bounce pass.
He's kicked a bounce pass towards Nick Dacos, who's so clean. Hand pass, bang. Then it's gone in. Bobby Hill's sat under it. He didn't want to go for the mark. The mark's dropped. He picked it up straight away. Gone.
They look
so
stunned.
Clean.
Don't they, the Suns? They look stunned. Like what they're able to do. What Whitey mentioned there, they just looking on as if, hey, how'd you do that kick? How'd you do that handball? How'd you score that? They're way out of the depth at the moment.
Well, they're down 26 in disposals and looking like it as Witts gets the clearance towards centre half forward. Markov with a good spoil, was well roved but cut off by Quainer. They're off again, the Pies. Quainer with the handball to Pendlebury. He goes backwards to Mitchell at half back. Mitchell now, his kick not his best. And it's cut off there by Darcy McPherson. Now he wants to go quickly. He goes into the corridor, finds Flanders. His 20-metre kick just beyond the centre circles finds Braden Fiorini, but there's not a lot of movement in front of him, Spriggy.
100% game time last week for Braden Fiorini. He goes high inside forward 50. Big leap from Casbolt. Brought up there in front, though. Darcy Moore to intercept. Lays off the hand pass to Noble. Quainer almost spent it before he had it, but finds Josh Dacos running by. And he's got a bit of space here for Noble again, who ran on. And Mark's on the outer wing.
Yeah, it's beautiful spread.
Pies by 27. 24 gone here in the opening term. So Noble's kick goes high towards half forward. Roved here by Rowell, shrugs the tackle. Humphrey bursts by here for the Suns and kicks to the outer side. And they can just settle things down for a moment. The kick comes back inboard now for Fiorini. He's 65 from goal here.
This kick inside 50's got to go offline. If they kick it straight, Moore and Howe and those guys will just intercept it.
They'll eat it up.
Welcome Gold Coast listeners joining us from the NRL. This is the AFL at Carrara. Collingwood travelling here to face the Gold Coast Suns as King takes the mark. It wasn't paid. Hand pass off to Swallow. Tumbles it towards goal here. Casbolt tries to keep it alive. Howe was run down. Great defensive pressure it was by Flanders. The umpire says, give it to me. It's Collingwood by 27 points here. 25 gone to the opening term. You're with Brett Sprigg, Michael Price, Jeff White and Matthew Primus here on Grandstand AFL.
Umpire throws it up at the top of the square for the Suns. Cameron gets it down for the Pies. Another scrap at ground level. Josh Dacos. Handball back to Cameron off a step. McCreary did well, got rid of his opponent. The umpire's got a whistle on play. Oh, he didn't do well. He was holding Lockie Weller, so it'll be a free kick to the Suns. 45 out. It's a very tight angle to the right, but Weller must be confident. He's turned his back on everybody. He's gone back and said, I'll have a shot.
Didn't look much in it, did he?
No, it didn't. I thought it was
He pushed him in the back, McCreary, but anyhow, the ump was in a
better position than us.
Thought it was good body work myself, but never mind. But Lockie Weller hasn't kicked a goal this year. He's had the comeback from that ACL on the arc of 50. He strikes it nicely. It won't have the distance. Moore gets up and touches it through. He saved the certain goal, Darcy Moore, with the outstretched fingers. 2 behinds for the Suns. They trail the Pies 28. It's a 26-point margin with 2.5 left in the first term.
Darcy Moore kicks out from goal beyond defensive 50. Wants to find Quaynor, does so. It's a perfect kick. Lays off the hand pass for Josh Dacos. It's got a man breaking for Amaro McCreary in his 50th game tonight. Quaynor kept running as well. He was too quick for Holman and Ace Oyer as they go inside forward 50 again through Frampton, going up in the 2-on-1. It was great work to get back there from Ballard. And he knocked it away from Jamie Elliott, who's searching for a third goal. And the Magpies 5th, but it's the visitors who lead here by 26 points. 26 gone here in this opening term.
Yeah, that's the difference between Ballard versus Elliott in the air and on the ground. The throw in for the Pies in the forward pocket, rowed by Mitchell. Flying shot, skews off the left boot out of bounds on the full. It's going to be a free kick. It'll be taken for the Suns by Brandon Ellis, the former Tiger premiership player. In the right back pocket, nobody standing the mark. He literally can saunter out and just deliver a 20-metre pass, and he finds Lockie Weller.
Weller's been busy in his second game. His return goes toward the outer side. Out of the pack, they converge now where Casbolt gave a shove, and it will be a free kick going opposite number. Darcy Moore, his way. Collingwood in control here. Darcy Moore on the outer wing. 26 points, Collingwood's advantage. Call to play on the Magpies skipper. Effortless kick inside 50. Cox was outnumbered. Powell lurking. So too down there, Anderson. I think Dacos tried to break a tackle, dispossess. He was penalised here, and the advantage is paid the way of the Gold Coast Suns. The exit kick comes to Casbolt to get on the outer wing.
The former Blue, he sees Ben King on the lead. It was a good kick, but Murphy spoiled well. At ground level, King was grabbed, didn't have it. He played that well. He arched over the ball, and Murphy a little bit too keen, just pulled him off it. And didn't have it, so Big Ben King, 70 from his own goal. He wants to put it to a dangerous area. Lukosius with the sit. Nicely spoiled by the Pies defence in unison. 3 of them over the boundary line beside the point post. We'll get a throw in for the Suns. Right forward pocket. They're trailing by 26 points. Great in the first term.
Great to watch key defenders when they come off. Moore just saw his man running into traffic, dropped off his man and come and helped spoil that ball over the field. Great to watch those good defenders.
Home side searching for their first goal. It's 4-4, plays 2 behind. From the stoppage, left behind by Rowell. Goes in again, brought to ground by Adams. And the umpire will ball it up 20 out from Gold Coast attacking goal.
Lucky then, didn't get a sling tackle against him then, Adams.
Not on that. Witts in the ruck contest, brings it to ground. Trying to work it away here, Swallow. Is he the only inaugural Sun remaining that's on their list?
Sam Day still there.
Same day, of course.
They're the only 2. Sam's still running around.
There's obviously some other clubs as well, but Swallow, former captain. It's away here, Pendlebury. Off here to Nick Dacos on the last line of defence. Brings it across the face of goal defensively for Noble, who marks in the right back pocket.
He's become a good, reliable footballer, John Noble.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a 2-year contract on the table, not signed quite yet.
Interesting as he plays on now. Goes for a long kick down the wing, looking for Cox. He got underneath it a little bit, and Sam Collins helped him along there, and the ball came off hands over the boundary line. We're going to throw in right in front of the grandstand commentary box. 13 clearances to 5 in favour of the Pies, and they are now plus 29 in disposals. Not quite at the end of the first term. 19 inside 50s to 11. The throw in. Witts got it down to Rao, but it bounced back into the arms of Cameron, and Witts hugged him. Umpire came in.
And you talk about the midfield. You got both Dacos and you've got Pendlebury, but geez, Mitchell and Adams have been great already.
Approaching the half-hour mark here at Carrara. Rao burrows in hard. Train of hand passes. Lacosius to Swallow. Pulls it back into the corridor here. Where's the marking target? Quainer gets back there in front of Humphrey to intercept for the Pies, and that will be just about all she wrote to quarter time here on the Gold Coast. An impressive opening quarter from the ladder leaders, Collingwood, 4-4-28. They lead the Gold Coast Suns, who are just the 2 behinds. Goal kickers, the first 2 were Jamie Elliott's, both in pretty remarkable circumstances. And singles also to Jack Crisp and Bobby Hill for the Pies, while the Suns, the home side, still waiting for their first goal of the game, just the 2 behinds. And 26 points is the margin at the first change. If you're listening across ABC Radio, News Radio, and via the ABC Listen app, this is Grandstand AFL.
Kerr intercepts, dribbles into the area, Kerr strikes, the Aussie captain scores! Sam Kerr puts the ball into the back of the net.
The 2023 Women's Football World Cup starts July 20 on ABC Sport. Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Marked by Collins.
So he wants to move it quickly. Gets inside 50. He had several to choose from, but reading it beautifully. Jeremy Howe heels off a beautiful kick short of the wing to find Myercheck. He's got a runner. He found him. McCreary, the handball to Hill. Chips it inside 50. So it goes now. Takes off. The right shoe is inside the right goalpost. Jamie Elliott from 30.
Lipinski shares a hand pass to Chris. He's in space. Out the back, Elliott. Shows some good pace here towards the pocket. He was run down. Ballard never stopped chasing. Elliott keeps it alive. That is absolutely freakish. He had the goalpost for company. Tapped it back alive into the goal square. Ran a play. Came back in their field of play. And towed it through. Kept alive again for the Pies by Adams. Tumbles a high ball back toward the corridor. Casbolt goes up. Wins it down here. Hand pass comes from Bobby Hill. Off to Chris. And that will be a third for the Pies. Noble back to Mitchell off a step. High ball inside 50 again. Going up watching it. Leaving it behind down there was Ben Long. Intercepted here by the Pies. And strolling in Bobby Hill. Can snap from close range and pop it through. Bobby Dazzler lights up the glitter strip here on the Gold Coast. And the Pies are all over the Suns.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
That's the story of the first quarter here at Carrara. Elsewhere, Adelaide beat North Melbourne by 66 points and the Western Bulldogs over Fremantle by 29 points. You're with Brett Sprigg, Michael Price here at Carrara, and our experts are Jeff White and Matthew Primus.
Sorry, Whitey, the Pies just took away the Suns' strength. We talk about the contest stuff a lot, but they're plus 7 in contested possession, plus 8 in clearances, which is the Suns' number 1 strength, and that's given them plus 8 inside 50. So when you add that, taking away the Suns' strength, and then they're flowing the ball, they're the best coast-to-coast team in the competition by a mile. Even though they've only kicked 1 goal, they've generated a lot of inside 50s out of that. So, one, they're playing their style of footy, and they've taken away the strength of the Suns, and they just look shell-shocked and unable to stop them at all with ball in hand.
I just think they're just a lot how clean they are below their knees at the moment, Collingwood, and their ability to work for each other as well. Quainer, a few times there is just spread, and then you've had Markov. You can see why they love Markov off the half-back line. He creates, even if he spreads and they don't use him, he creates space behind him. And then that's where Nick Dacos comes in. That's where Josh Dacos comes into that space. And then that passage of play where I think it was Bobby Hill who got that spread across the far side where he had Pendlebury, but you had McQuarrie. They were all working in synergy. And then there was a quick turnover. It came back and Dacos Darcy Moore marked it. The defence that they set up, when the player's not in their area, they turn their heads, they're on the defensive side really, really quick. I like that the Suns, though, are still trying to hit that 45 through the middle. They're still trying to own the corridor. There is going to be times where it opens up more. They've just got to be really... They've got to trust their game style. They've got to, it's been there in throughout the year. It's been able to kick some goals. I mean, it's only the first quarter, but early signs from Collingwood, they're so sharp, they're so clean, and the only way that the Suns going to get back into this is to actually get a hold of the ball, really.
Right,
the stats are saying
they do have to trust their game plan, because if they can... They had enough looks inside 50, didn't they? They kicked some poor kicks in there, and this year the Pies have let some big run-ons go. I think last week Adelaide kicked 8 in a row. They've had another 8 in a row earlier in the year. They've had a couple of 5 goals against. So if they can tidy up their inside 50s, and I reckon Dewey's biggest message would, hey, our midfielders, Rao's only had 3, Fiorini's only had 4, the Pies mids on top. If they can generate some more ball, they'll give themselves a look at it, and they know that the Pies at some stage will give you a good look, and can they hit some scoreboard pressure on them.
26 points is Collingwood's lead at quarter time here. A few more numbers, Pricey, to quarter time.
To lead the charge, Will Powell for the Suns with 10 disposals. Flanders has got 10 plus 4 tackles. Noah Anderson with 7. But for the Pies, Josh Dacos 11 with 224 metres gained already. Nick Dacos with 10 and 4 clearances. And Tom Mitchell's got 10 with a couple of clearances as well. But the Pies, they're leading by 25 disposals, 14 to 5 in the clearances. And the inside 50s, 19 to 12.
Off the text, 0437 774 774. Stuart says, can't wait to get the missing pieces of our team back next week. And Dan McStay at full forward. Jordan Ngoe back in the middle and still sideboard and back on a wing in maybe 2 weeks.
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
there's three quality players right there.
They're already on top, chasing a 13th win. And by the way, 13 wins, or 12 wins might get you there, but 13 wins guarantees you finals. I know they want to go higher than that, Collingwood, but they've been impressive this year and in control of things here. Third part of 5 goals. With the second term about to get underway here at Carrara. About 20,000 in, hopefully a few more. I mean, I know there were flight difficulties, unfortunately, which might cost us a record crowd, but we'll see how we go. In the meantime, the Suns need to respond here. The first clearance goes the way of the Pies, and Crisp gave the fend, kicks hurriedly towards Bobby Hill, coming out to meet the football now. Deflects out to the wing. Bobby Hill goes to gather again. Too quick for Fiorini. Sends it towards half forward. It's bouncing out of bounds for a throw-in.
I know those orange boots catch your eyes, but geez, they can move. That Bobby Hill, doesn't he? He's lightning across that ground.
Right half forward for the Pies. Left half back for the Gold Coast Suns. Still chasing their first goal of the game, but it's Collingwood 4-4 to the Suns, 2 behinds.
Anybody who's had small children know those shoes that light up when they hit the ground. It's like Bobby Hill, isn't it? Definitely. The throw in across the half forward lines, towed forward. Adams claims the mark. It only went 6 metres, surely. I don't know who kicked it out of the pack, but it didn't. Well, the umpire said it went the required distance, so Taylor Adams is going to go back and have a shot at goal from just beyond the 50. He's on a bit of an angle, though.
Him in synergy with Mitchell have been great tonight. Just when the ball hits the ground, they're front and centre every time.
And it was Scott Pendlebury whose foot has been credited with that hack out of the pack, and knowing his experience and class, he meant to do that every inch. Now here's Adams from 50. He strikes it nicely.
Free kick to Cox. They were wrestling in the goal square.
Yeah,
and,
I was going to say.
Andrew Mack threw him around when he didn't have the ball. And
well, I thought the ball was going
down the field. It's against Cox,
It's against Mason Cox, against Mac Andrew. There you go. Look, the umpire was waving like a traffic cop. I didn't know what was going on either there, Matty. But the Suns are going to have the ball. It'll go back to the arc of 50, and it's going to be with Will Powell.
And then there's the defence. The Collingwood have set up so quickly, got no options at all.
Powell, that's his defensive 50 up to Weller at left half back. The light's taking effect now. Dark, cloudy sky overhead. The Saturday twilight here on the Gold Coast. They come, Fiorini up the line. And looking to lay off the hand pass and get something going. Flanders does so now. Fiorini keeps running, just forward of halfway. High inside, forward 50 they go. Casbolt goes up as he pull it down. No umpire says play on. Hand pass comes to Witts. He snaps towards goal. But Josh Dacos is waiting back there on the last line to bring it away for Jack Crisp, who marks on the paint of 50 here defensively for the Pies.
Oh, Cox had the set. Mac Andrew read it from 20 metres away, fisted it forward. Bobby Hill gathered, tried to get around a couple, still managed to keep it for the Pies. Quainer, his handball, back to Crisp. He's confronted by Rowell on the logo. Dropped the ball and now picked up by Lukosius. He tried to measure a pass to Casbolt, who stood still while Jeremy Howe got around him. Howe dropped the mark though. It's picked up now by Quainer under a lot of pressure from Ainsworth. Gives it back to Howe. basically been pushed back to the arc of 50, through Markov, through Moore. Aggressive, beautiful kick into the middle to Maynard. Straight down the middle. The Pies are going easy. Here's Bobby Hill. The striking boots take it 40 metres out, 45 degrees to the left. That was movement quickly, and there's another lead on, poor marking by the Suns, and it's going to be Taylor Adams who floats down into the left forward pocket and takes the mark, but he's on a tight angle.
Really poor by the Suns forwards. I'll go after this, Pricey, after he kicks this goal.
Well, he's facing inboard, so it looks like he will curl it around with the right foot. He'll go from around about 25 metres. It's a good look for a right foot curl. We're right behind it here in the grandstand commentary box. He's called to play on. He hits the fat side of the pill. It floats an awkward backward torpedo towards the right forward pocket. Rove by the Suns. There's a free kick on play. Oh. It's going to go to the Pies, and it's going to go to Mason Cox. Jared Witts and McAndrew collectively throw their heads back as the big American lopes back and will have a shot. 45-degree angle to the right, but he's only 8 metres out.
I was saying before, but the ball was at the top of the Suns' goal square. They lost possession, and the Collingwood's backs were the first one to react rather than the Suns' forwards. And that's why it's bouncing out of there. There's no pressure at all when it goes inside the Suns' forward line.
He's got almost a 50% goal-kicking rate. Just a little bit more than that, actually, and Mason Cox. See what celebration he brings if he can pop this one through. Big Mason goes up and delivers a chest-to-chest with Jared Witts to celebrate his goal, and the Pies 5th. 5-4-34. The Suns 2 behinds, 32 points the margin, and we played 4.5 minutes of the second term in Grandstand AFL.
How that drive started from the back line was Josh Dacos just taking it off. He switched the play, and then Magpies then spread. There was a little bit of congestion there on the wing, but then they came back on board, and Darcy Moore's kick to Maynard throughout the centre just broke it up. Able to have that spread going forward, and best way to attack is coming through the middle.
Hot start for the Pies. I mean, nervous Collingwood fans thinking, when's the Gold Coast surge going to come and sort of really keep us on our toes? And that's when the Pies are at their best, coming back. But they wouldn't hate this. The first 5 goals of the game. Gold Coast need a response, and very quick. They won't get it here, though. Clearance, Nick Dacos, Tom Mitchell, high inside 50, Collingwood goes again. Lipinski tries to shark it, beaten to it, though, by Flanders. The Suns here towards Ainsworth, who copped a free kick. Advantage paid here for the Gold Coast Suns. McPherson wide down to Ellis on the logo western side. Plays on quickly now. Kicks for distance. Long inside 50 again here for the home side. And over the back there from Lukosius on Murphy. Through traffic, Nick Dacos back to Tom Mitchell. Little 1-2 here, and Nick Dacos can burst away again.
The outside of the right shoe, audacious into the path of Myercheck, well spoiled by Collins. At ground level, McCreary, he's got Noah Anderson literally on his back, holding the ball, says the umpire. I think that's harsh, but he...
Better pressure by the Suns forward. Dacos was hurried into an outside check side kick out of the rebound there, and the Suns get the ball back.
Noah Anderson got the free kick. Well-constructed tackle. He plays on. He's right on centre wing. He goes past the interchange gates, launches one into the pocket. At the back, Lukosius couldn't quite grab it. Maynard roved. His ball cut off there by Flanders. Handball to Ellis. Cleverly across the half-forward line. He delivers a pass to Fiorini. That was just opening up the eyes and some experience. And Fiorini, this is in his wheelhouse. He'll have a shot from just on the arc of 50, 45-degree angle to the right.
At least that time, the Suns, when the ball hit the ground, they were able to get in front, get the clearance and not be out-muscled by Collingwood.
Had probably one of his better games of his career last week. 35-odd disposals and really filling that midfield void. But Braden Fiorini could really lift the Suns right here. He skips up to the 50. The left footer starts left, and it just doesn't even make the distance. Flying, though, that's a big pluck. Is that Ben King called play on by the umpire? It's rowed by Roses, tackled into the ground, and the umpire's going to come in and ball it up at the top of the centre square. Ben King had a slice of that, but didn't quite take the whole pie.
Blood rule here.
Jared Witts, who's coming from the ground here with top part of his face cut open.
At least the Suns are locking the ball in the last 3 inside 50s. Has just come from great pressure, be able to get a couple of rebounds. Hopefully now they can try and hit the scoreboard out of this pressure.
They gave up the first 3 goals of the game against Hawthorn last week. They're 5 down here, 32 points the total margin so far. Casbolt replaces Witts. The umpire balls it up. Deep in attack here for the Suns. Casbolt down for Flanders. Numbers in defence though. Oh, Moore dangerous. Flanders came in late with a toe, but Moore rushed it through for a minor score. And it will be a 31-point advantage with that third behind of the Gold Coast Suns. 8.5 go on second term here at Carrara.
They play on quickly, the Pies. Oh, that's an aggressive kick from Howe. Straight down the middle to Moore. A handball to Murphy. He launched a bomb inside 50. Lipinski, spoiled, roving. Elliott, play on, goal. Oh, coast to coast. And Elliott's got 3 for the Pies. Scintillating football to watch here at Carrara. 6-4-40, plays 3 behinds. 37 points the margin. Your experts, Jeff White, Matthew Primus.
It's a beautifully set up play. So Darcy ran through the middle, and what happened was on the flanks, they all spread towards the boundary line. So they only had 2 left in the middle, and then Darcy took off. From about 35-metre mark, he went. He just ran. Definitely a set play because that's where Jeremy Howe was looking. So as it turned out, it was 2 on 2, and both Murphy and Darcy got on the dangerous side. So fantastic setup there, and you can see all the Collingwood players went over to both Darcy and Murphy and Howe. It was definitely a beautiful setup there.
Yeah, great set play. You're exactly right. But geez, Lukosius and Flanders were really poor, weren't they? Why they were just looking at the kick and not swiveling their heads, and they got sieved.
Suns will have to play comeback kings tonight. 37 points down here. Hot start for Collingwood. They pick up where they left off in this second term. Clearance goes the way of the Suns though. Rowell to Fiorini, high ball inside 50, but Darcy Moore takes in a set mark here for Collingwood. He's got the bright orange boots as well. Even I think more fluorescent than Bobby Hills. Coming wide now to Maynard. A reliable defender. Marks in the left back pocket. They know they control the game here, the Pies. Short kick to Murphy.
Just got to really squeeze that space too, because you think that they won't hit it, but they'll go for it.
Nathan Murphy. Long raking ball on the western wing. Casbolt got separation on Frampton and has paid the mark here for the Gold Coast Suns on the wing.
Certainly uses his bulk to his advantage, and Frampton's not a small boy either. But Levi Casbolt launches one towards half forward. More with the front position, actually spoiled by Lukosius. It gave the Gold Coast a chance at ground level through Ellis. He gathered and he was tackled immediately, dropped the ball. Just the pressure from the Pies at ground level is enormous. And Josh Dacos, this will be disposal number 14 for him as he takes it at left half back immediately, wants to play on now. It's a long kick. It's in the Myercheck and Frampton direction. Myercheck, good contest, spoiled, but it was roved by Anderson for the Suns. Handball backwards to Long, backwards to Lockweller, and he chips a 9-9 to Lukosius, who has to hold up. He's got Frampton standing the mark, just short of centre wing.
Number 2 pick from half a decade ago finds Casbolt, marking just forward of halfway. Swings it around here for Ellis. Still a long way from home, 75 out. Can they make something of this attacking foray, the Gold Coast Suns? High toward the teeth of goal now. Up goes Swallow. Knocked back here for Jack Crisp. Hand pass from Mitchell, Noble, and now Pendlebury can rebound them off half back with that reliable left boot. And now it's Mark. Still running here is Frampton. In space, 65 out. Unguarded goal square. All the way for Billy Frampton. Welcome back, Billy. Another coast-to-coast effort for the Magpies. And they are cutting the Gold Coast Suns to pieces on their own deck. They're out by 43. 12 go on second term. The scoreline 7-4-46. The Gold Coast Suns remain stuck on 3 behind.
And here was the ruckman. And Murphy, I think, was it Murphy got the finger tipper from Pendlebury, but then Frampton just came from the centre back and ran through the middle, and what a great finish. But
what about the rebound, Whitey? They walked. They didn't walk. They jogged out there with no pressure, a couple of handball receives. We're a broken record at the moment, but their defensive pressure is non-existent at the moment, Suns, and they are copping it right on the scoreboard because of that.
Stuart Dew used that term during the week. They'll cut you up if you're not careful. Yeah. That's what's happening so far tonight.
100%.
There was a long kick, top of the goal square, a crumb, and they were able to get a crumb and waltz out uncontested all the way up the ground.
So basically the message is from Drew is that there's too many guys that are ball watching right now.
Yep, exactly right, Whitey.
Suns go forward with a clearance here. Oya, he gets it back to Anderson. Now through traffic, he escapes, did beautifully, straight down the corridor. One bounce, two bounces, gets to the 50, top of the square. Darcy Moore, he spoiled it beautifully, straight through the behinds and spoiled the party for the Gold Coast. The Collingwood skipper had it on a plate. One behind, that's their fourth, and they're now 42 points behind the Pies.
Darcy Moore on the kick-out duties. Buys some space in the left-back pocket. Drives it long to the western side. Going up down there was Ben Long. Out the back, though, McCreary for the Magpies. Kicks into space. Coming out to beat the football, Ballard. Lost it again. McCreary follows up. The Magpies get it back. Swings it back into the corridor. Strong grab from Darcy Cameron. Plays on quickly here. Bursting toward the pocket. Meyer check, but Bobby Hill kept his feet. Gave a shove, though, into the back of Ben Long. In fact, Will Powell, it is, takes the free kick at fullback for the Gold Coast Suns. It's the Pies by 42. 14 goal in second term on the Gold Coast.
Will Powell getting plenty of the ball. He gave it over to Darcy McPherson, and he searched for a pinpoint pass on the behinds, on the boundary line, looking for Ainsworth. He kicked it out of bounds on the full. Now it ends up with Taylor Adams. He lowers the eyes. He's got Elliott on the lead. Hits him. 40 out. Well, it's a tight angle to the right, but Jamie Elliott can do anything in front of goal.
And Pricey, that was a poor turnover by McPherson, but when teams in AFL turn the ball over and it's a slow play, they'll flood back in the opposition's forward 50. There was 9 Suns players outside the Pies forward 50. Too much space, and they're too skillful to allow that.
And sometimes you've got to be aware of the situation. You're down by 42 points. You're not going to attack as hard as you can. You've got to try and stem the tide and set up in defence.
Jamie Elliott has 3. He comes in. Pies fans behind the goals love it at Carrara. Jamie Elliott's got 4. The Pies have 8, and they're doing it in a canter at the moment. 48 points the margin, and we're only 14 and a half minutes into the second term. Grandstand AFL on the Gold Coast. I'm stunned, Spriggy.
Magpie masterclass.
It is, and and we've been saying this for the whole game at the moment, but just that when the ball hits the ground, that play by McCreary on the wing, he had no other options up forward. So what he did is he dribble kicked it short to keep him play, and then chased it down, and then grabbed the ball, and then his kick inside it's a centre forward was unbelievable.
In one word, sum up the Pie: dare. They dare to do anything that will result.
They put pressure on you, and they ask you a lot of questions. And at the moment, they're going at 80% efficiency, so the Suns just cannot stop them at all.
Jamie Elliott's best return of the year so far already, and there's still most of this second term to go. Another half after that. Clearance goes the way of the Pies again. Mitchell, Nick Dacos, Shepherd's on Rao, old school teammates. And there's Pendlebury. Just waddles through traffic, finds Noble, just 4.5 way here. The Magpies. Kick was smothered by Rao. Follows up now on the wing. Can they make something of this? Marking in space. And the man down there was Lukosius as Rosas works to get back there. Lukosius is 75 from goal. Swings it back into the corridor. Going up there, Swallow. At the back, though, Murphy for the Magpies. Pendlebury and Noble again has room to kick to the man in space. And it's Josh Dacos who marks on the wing.
Oh, he had Lockweller coming off the bench, and he gave the ball to Lipinski. Back to Dacos under pressure from Ellis. And it's gone all the way to the arc of 50. Suns still competing for the ball. Ellis picks it up. He's tackled by Dacos. Into the ground. The umpire comes in and says he'll ball it up. It's 70 metres from the Collingwood goal, and they are looking irrepressible at the moment. 16 and a half gone in the second term. The umpire will throw it up. Cox versus Witts. Cox with the second tap, got it into the arms of Darcy McPherson, straight up and down the chimney. Cox has another go, fists it forward, rode there by Flanders, tackled into the ground, handball now Anderson. He'll try to go forward and does. It's a long kick. Oh, Lukosius did well to actually fly up against Darcy Moore, who had the best position. Now through the hands of Holman. Lukosius, he's going to hit. Oya hits him on the goal square. Did the young man play on? Oh, boy, oh. I reckon he was close. But he's going to have a shot from almost point-blank range, 10 metres out, slight angle to the right.
That's Lukosius' kick then, that beautiful kick, that's what broke it open, and that's what they haven't had tonight, the Suns, when they've gone inside 50. They've done some real poor kicks that have opened them up for the slingshot the other way.
I reckon he was almost off too. Took a couple of steps after he took the mark. So away go Oya. Makes the goal umpire work, but kicks the Suns' first goal. 8-4-52. The Suns 1-4-10. We're back to a 42-point margin. We played 17 and a half minutes of the second term. It's Grandstand AFL, Michael Price and Brett Sprigg. Your experts are Matt Primus and Jeff White.
You got it right, not like Q the other night.
Matty White.
The ability to spread from the half-back line is so powerful from Collingwood, but can be the Achilles heel if you get them on the turnover. The only way you do that is when you get the turnover the halfway mark, and that's how they've been able. That's what Adelaide did last week. They were able to suffocate their transitional run, and then they were on the onside, and they were able to kick goals against Collingwood. But that was the only way they could do that right now.
And that's the Suns' strength, Whitey. They're the best in the business at doing that, but tonight, a long way off it, aren't they?
Ace Oya debuted against the Pies last year in this same game. First goal, first kick on that occasion. He's got the Suns' first goal quite late here, though. 42 points. They win the clearance again, though, the Gold Coast Suns. McPherson is shoved out of it now. Rowell beats the Hoskin Elliott tackle. Loose ball on the wing, picked off clear by Adams. Hand pass up in the air. Fiorini came by as well. Just ricochets back down the corridor here for the Magpies. My check off for Nick Dacos. He's in space. Goal side from 45. Nick Dacos, what a finish! And they get the immediate reply. His stocks are rising further still. It's not second-year syndrome. It's just there is no ceiling for Nick Dacos, the Brownlow medal favourite. And the Pies get it back to a 48-point break as we approach time on here in the second term. 9-4-58 to Gold Coast 1-4-10 here on Grandstand AFL.
And then you have one of their tallest players on their list in my check. One grab off the ground.
What about their
beautiful pickup?
Their knock-ons, Whitey. It's a bit of Richmond, isn't it? The way they don't take possession of the ball, but they knock it into space, knock it to the advantage, and there's not a stat for it, but it just keeps the ball constantly going in motion the whole time. It is terrific to watch the synergy of the Pies.
But if you do that, then you have to pick it up really clean. You have to have that's a strength, and it's just so clean and so brilliant to watch.
Yeah, it is magnificent to watch. We're back into the middle of Carrara. Witts trying desperately, gathers this one down, but it's sharp by Nick Dacos, and they just chain the handballs. It's chipped forward there by Maynard into the path of Dacos. The audacious tap back. Will Hoskin Elliott to the top of the square. Bobby Hill, can he rove off hands? It's towed. Oh boy, he nearly did. It went through for a behind. This is almost Harlem Globetrotters versus Washington Generals, but the Suns aren't that bad. It's just that Collingwood are that good. 59 plays 10, 49 the margin.
It begs to differ in some ways, don't you? The reality is the Gold Coast Suns had an opportunity. We talk about, and I'll come back to this point in a second, as Powell goes to Weller in the right back pocket. I know Quentin Hull talks about, being in the off-Broadway of the Gold Coast Suns and Brisbane Lions quite often. This is centre stage tonight. Standalone game Saturday twilight against the ladder leaders. This was their chance, and the lights are just too bright for the Gold Coast Suns as King takes a mark on the wing. Can they work it forward here? Plays on now. There's Ben King. Pops it deep to the pocket. Casbolt was outnumbered and just out-muscled by Nathan Murphy over the back.
Great body work by Murphy then to get Casbolt on. That's not an easy job, that one.
Remains 49 points to Collingwood advantage as we approach half-time.
When you said out-muscled, Despriggy, that's probably case in point. He's 120-odd kilos. Brilliantly done by Murphy. Now Noble from half-back. He measures a kick.
Still going.
He's still going. He kept running and received the handball. Brilliant piece of running. He goes a little bit too far on that occasion. His kick was put off. It's a turnover now. It was well chased there by Roses, who tracked him down. Now, Rao gathers the ball short of the wing. Now that's the Pies' turn to apply the pressure. 3-on-1. Matt Rao, good luck there, as Pendlebury and co. just close all exits and put him into the ground, Matt Rao, and it's going to be a ball up on the Nerang River wing, just beside the boundary line.
22nd birthday today for Matt Rowell, the Gold Coast midfield dynamo. And it's going to be a free kick.
Hasn't been his tonight. This game it just looks too quick for him. It's not a stoppage game where that's his strength. I don't know what his numbers are, but haven't sided him too much.
Anderson kicks short ball to Mac Andrews, so he's a fair way down there. Just 9 disposals, 2 and 7, his count, Matt Rowell. Powell. Speaking of Rowell, Powell. We'll kick up the line here. Ainsworth into space for Fiorini. He's still 75 from goal. It's a long way back from here for the Suns. 49 points down. He goes high inside forward 50. Big pack. Up goes Witts. Quainer. Hand pass off to Cameron, and now Noble here. Hand pass through the pocket now. Mitchell dummies the kick. Comes back infield now by a hand. Maynard, Nick Dacos, Quainer. Now Pendlebury's away.
And they're through the middle again. Here's Murphy, long kick. Lipinski inside 50. Bobby Hill just takes it. Didn't have to change stride. Has a bounce and launches it into the scoreboard. At the northern end of Carrara. Once again, his second, and it's on in the middle. Why not? You got to bring something, Suns, because the Pies are carving you up here on the glitter strip. 65 to 10, 10-5, 65 to 1-4-10.
Yeah, once again, that was a deep ball inside 50, and just on the rebound, too many Suns players just watching, and handball, 4 or 5 handball chains out of your back 50, and Anderson then, when they kicked the goal, he was mouthing off, trying to do something, as you said, Pricey. Unfortunately, he's given away a free, though, so it'll be free to the Pies. But at least he's trying to do something, because at the moment, this is a 120-point loss.
This is Carrara. This is the Gold Coast home ground, Spriggy. Welcome to it.
I'm in form. Well, yeah, you can hear the Collingwood chant ring around here. Most of them in the black and white, as we said. But I'm in form, Matty, because I did the Sydney West Coast game last week. So compared to that, this is still a close game. Going inside forward 50. Cox takes a strong grab. Mitchell from that free kick found the big American who marks 35 out directly in front.
We mentioned we don't want to harp on it too much, but the chance for the Suns to stand up tonight, this is going back to their previous times, isn't it, Whitey, when you get a bit of hope up, they've got a bit of momentum in their game, and then they just look miles off it. And this team that they put out in the park tonight, this is enough maturity, enough experience out here not to dish up this.
Coming off their 4th biggest win ever last week. And this from the Pies, albeit Mason Cox has missed to the left-hand side from on a score, 10-6, 66 to 1-4-10. Nonetheless, it's a Carrara carve-up for Collingwood here as we approach half-time.
And the Suns bring it back in quickly through Ellis. They go just short of half-back. Ainsworth back to Anderson, trying his hardest. That's his 16th disposal. Coming across half-back now, Charlie Ballard receives and gives to Weller. Short of centre wing, commentary side. Wants to take off and go long. It's a 2-on-1. Ben King had no hope there. Beautiful body work from Darcy Moore allowed Oleg Markov, the former Sun, to take the mark. He handballs to Noble. They take off again, the Pies, down the wing. Myercheck, the body work, and the one-hand grab against Sam Collins is superb.
Brody Myercheck, he's high up on the ground here. I mentioned he was goalless last week, but a long way from home. Just on the entry now. High ball towards the pack. McAndrew tries to pluck it clear. McCreary wrapped up down there by Ben Long. Loose ball. McAndrew can rebound with a neat pass by Foot. And it's marked by Humphrey. Still inside defensive 50 here for the Gold Coast Suns. It's the Pies who lead by 56. 26 gone, second turn.
Ball's on the outer side of the ground. Levi Casbolt, short of centre wing. Oh, he missed with the kick. He was looking for Holman and he saw Darcy Moore approaching. He stuttered with the kick, and Darcy Moore ended up winning out and gets a free kick from Holman anyway for an illegal grab.
And that's what can really deflate your side when you work so hard to get there, and the poor decision, poor skill error.
Moore goes to the outer side, and Jeremy Howe, right against the boundary, just short of centre wing on the Nerang River wing, getting the cheers of the crowd like he's one of their favourites, obviously. Came off hands. Cox into the path of Crisp. He towed it forward. Chased by Ainsworth, who provided enough pressure to take it over the boundary line. No, he keeps it in. No, he doesn't. He takes it over the boundary line right the first time. 45 out, there will be a throw in.
10-6 plays 1-4. 56 points Collingwood's way as they flex their muscle on a top 8 aspirant. The Gold Coast are stunned. What do the Pies do here? Stoppage inside 50. Cameron palms it down. Free kick for a hold. Going Collingwood's way. Lipinski. It will go the way of Lipinski. The former Dog. It's only his 3rd game this year, coming back from that shoulder injury. 2nd year at the Pies. Might fancy his chances from here with the distance. He's going to kick from just beyond 50. 45-degree angle. to ride this wave of Magpie momentum. Lipinski all the way to the goal line, slightly across the face, kept alive here, almost rode by Hill. McCreary goes the fend on Oyer and runs it toward the boundary line right alongside the left behind post. So stoppage again, throw it inside 50 for the Pies, who lead by 56 points, 28 gone in this second quarter.
So the throw in, it's going to be Cameron versus Witts. Witts from the rear position slaps it forward. Anderson once again. Oh, it's sharked there by Dacos Nick, but the umpire said the ball had already gone back over the boundary line. Get another throw in from a similar spot.
That's the third time Cox has done that tonight. He might not get the stats for it, but just his ability, when it's on the line, to tap it back into play. That's where his basketball skills come into play.
Throw in. Cameron versus Witts. At ground level, Lipinski. Beautifully roved. And what a finish. That is superb ruck work, roving, and a little piece of composure to finish it off from Patrick Lipinski. The Pies doing it easy. 11-6-72. The Suns 1-4-10. 62 points. It's a game-high margin with, about 20 gone. Second term.
Yeah,
26 gone.
Anderson, just a cardinal sin. And one of your dangerous forwards, mids there, just let him get goal side, a little on the wraparound. Gave him too much space. A great finish. But just defensively, again, you don't give a guy, let him go to the boundary line. Don't let him run a route back into the middle of the ground and open up the goals.
You spoke about sling tackles, by the way. Was it you, Warren?
Yeah.
Or was it,
yeah.
So Brad Close, by the way, has given the all clear after his tackle on Aaron Francis last night. Didn't think there was much at the time, but look at all
the
these
thing
things.
I noticed with that is that Close dropped his knees first.
Yeah, so that's been looked at by the MRO and given the all clear. That's the bit of breaking news there. As from the clearance, the Suns, a hand pass from Anderson. Swallow, a veteran, high ball inside 50. Moore goes to spoil up in front. It was almost sort of in from the side, Darcy Moore. Holman roves it though for the Gold Coast side. Now Lukosius was beaten to it by Noble, wrapped up by Weller. Too high. Hand around the shoulder from Lockie Weller. And it's a Collingwood free kick at fullback here in their defensive end. Collingwood 11-6-72, Gold Coast 1-4-10. The margin 62 as we approach the half-hour mark of the second term.
A little bit of frustration starting to creep into, you can see that, Jeff White as well.
Yeah.
With Nick Holman just knocked Tom Mitchell down, got away with not giving away the 50, but it was close as he plays on. It's a long kick towards centre wing, off the hands. It goes into the path of Bobby Hill. He's got Ben Long there wearing him, and the ball stuck under the pair of them. Enter Nick Dacos, and he's treated roughly by Locke Weller, and the Pies didn't like that as the ball's gone over the boundary line. Very protective of Nick Dacos, and why wouldn't you? 20 disposals the kids had with 7 clearances again. We haven't reached half-time. He's a phenomenon.
Back in it comes. The dying seconds of the opening half. Anderson tries to trap it. Got some pressure from Bobby Hill, and it's once again out of bounds for a throw-in.
And it's a pressure from all angles, from in front, from behind. The Suns, when they get their hands on the ball, they just feel like they're under pressure all the time.
31 gone. Cameron up in front of Witts, who's got the head strapped like a rugby prop after the earlier blood rule. Penalty tries to work it away. Hill marks on the logo western side. Swings his kick on the angle for Mitchell, and that will be it to half-time. And that was a show-stopping second quarter. 7 goals to 1. We thought Collingwood's first term was good. They go from 26 points, their lead at the quarter-time break, to 62 at the major break here at Carrara. 11-6-72 for the Gold Coast Suns, who are 1-4-10. Goal kickers, Jamie Elliott has his best effort of this year so far. 4 goals for him in a half of football. 2 for Bobby Hill, singles for Frampton, Crisp, Nick Dacos, Mason Cox and Pat Lipinski, the most recent goal kicker for them. And just the only goal kicker for the Gold Coast Suns, Huago Oyer. And it came in that second term here at Carrara. And the sting has well and truly gone out of this game for the Gold Coast Suns and their fans, who are outnumbered in quite a big way by the travelling Collingwood faithful and the expats, of course, here on the Goldie. But it's a 62-point lead to the visitors here. Our experts are Jeff White and Matthew Primus.
So just outstanding and more impressive in that second quarter, be able to, just not give the Suns any opportunity to get back into the game whatsoever. They they were relentless in that quarter from Collingwood. They, on the ground, we spoke about how clean they were off the ground, and then the ability to spread, the ability to support each other, their pressure from the front and the back. The clearances numbers, I don't know what the stats were, but it would be off the charts in the way they were going in comparison to what it was in the first quarter. So just a complete dominance. And then when they get the ball, just the way they deliver it, the way they change direction, it's not down the line. And if it's down the line, they're getting the Bulls like Mitchell and Adams at the front and centre of the bigs to have that clean. And then they've got like we said, Nick Dacos has had 7 clearances, and then you get him on the outside, you get his brother on the outside, and their ability to hit their targets going forward. It's just been a masterclass from Collingwood so far.
It's a joy to watch, isn't it, Whitey? I think we've spoken enough about the Suns. They've just had their game plan taken away. That quarter, all the contest clearance stuff inside 50s went all the Suns' way. It's plus 16 in contested possession, plus 9 to 22 clearances. I don't think the Suns have been like that. Even when they've had bad losses, they are normally strong in that area. And 8 times they've gone coast to coast for 4 goals, which is, you normally concede about 2 a game and about 10 inside 50s a game. They've already had 8 and 4 goals. So it is, I want to just talk about Collingwood. It is just a joy to watch how connected they are in offence and defence. The way they move the ball sets them up when they, as you mentioned a few times, Whitey, when they do turn it over on the rare occasion, they're set up beautifully behind the ball, so they just react once the ball leaves to the area, where the Suns are watching the scoreboard, or they're half concussed with what the scoreboard's doing to them. They don't know what to do. And it'd be an interesting discussion down in the Suns' change rooms there, because this game's obviously dead and buried, and what can they try and get out of it? Their game plan's been taken away by the Pies, but outstanding to watch.
Yeah, they just suffocated them, and they've just given them no opportunity. The start of the game, they were trying to hit that 45 through the middle and trying to own the corridor, and we thought, at least they're taking a risk here, at least they're trying to attack. But the Collingwood quickly squashed that, particularly in that quarter where they owned the corridor. The set play that they had with Murphy and Darcy, that was from the point kick in, resulted in a goal, and just the speedsters like Bobby Hill and even Elliott's got pace. Like, they're just able to spread and create that space behind them, even if they're not used.
They've had 23 inside 50s, the Suns, and they've kicked 1 goal. So 23 is a good number till half time. And the Pies have only had 32, which isn't an extraordinarily high number, but look what they're doing when they go inside 450.
Let me tell you this. I was looking at the results from earlier. Adelaide beat North by 66 points. Isaac Rankin, 5 goals straight for the Crows. You look at the former Sun, of course, and as you say, not making the most opportunities up for the Gold Coast Suns tonight. By the way, so just on that, that win puts Adelaide, it reaffirms their place in the top 8. They're currently 6th, and earlier as well at Docklands, the Bulldogs beat Fremantle by 29 points. We'll bring you some reaction from that game. The Bulldogs winning off the bye, Whitey. So that's the first
one.
What's there?
First one.
1-9 now?
Yeah, 1-9. Yeah, we had a discussion about it the other night on air with Quentin Hull, mentioning the fact that if the side had the bye coming up against the side that had played the week before, it was 0-9. So
3 games to go, I think, Whitey, with that equation. Port Essendon, I think, is 1.
Yep.
Yes.
Carlton Hawks.
And I think Melbourne and Giants.
Melbourne and the Giants, So interesting to see how that plays out.
62 points is the margin here. Collingwood's way, 11-6-72, plays 1-4-10, thanks to Jeff White and Matthew Primus. And that does bring us to half-time. So what a half of football from Collingwood. We'll get some reaction from that Bulldogs win coming up very shortly. Of course, as the boys mentioned, Essendon versus Port Adelaide still to come later on, and we'll preview that at 3/4 time here. But right now, at half-time at Carrara, it's time for us to head to the ABC newsroom.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. The federal opposition is criticising the government's economic management, saying the larger than expected surplus for this financial year is a result of luck. The May budget forecast a surplus of $4.2 billion for the 2022-23 financial year. However, new figures from the Finance Department show it will be more than $19 billion. Shadow Climate Change and Energy Minister Ted O'Brien insists the government shouldn't be praised for benefiting from higher tax revenue.
Labor might be licking its lips with a budget surplus, but Australian households are on their knees in pain. Labor should not confuse dumb luck with good policy. If it were good policy, they'd be forecasting surpluses well into the future, but that's not the case.
The New South Wales government's promised stamp duty reforms come into effect today. First home buyers spending up to $800,000 won't have to pay stamp duty, while those spending up to $1 million will get a concession. Treasury modelling suggests the changes will help around 13,000 people get into the property market. Air traffic controller shortages have led to flight cancellations and delays across Australia's east coast today. Virgin Australia has apologised after groups of AFL fans missed a game this afternoon when 6 flights from Melbourne to the Gold Coast were cancelled. Jetstar customer John is in good spirits as he faces a 7-hour delay at Melbourne Airport after his flight to Queensland also couldn't take off.
We weren't given a reason why, but our flight was cancelled. We've got crosswords, we've got books.
A new study has found pregnant Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women in Melbourne are more likely to have better health outcomes when offered culturally tailored midwifery care. Courtney Withers has more.
The La Trobe University study engaged with 213 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women having a baby at one of 3 Melbourne maternity facilities. The main feature offered was continuity of midwifery care, where a woman has 24/7 phone access to the same midwife throughout their entire pregnancy. Lead researcher Res McCalman says there's an urgent need for a national rollout.
We need to end the postcode lottery. Women should have access to these models of care.
The women completed questionnaires during pregnancy and then 3 months post-birth, with most rating their experience highly.
The Victorian government will take in more than $3 million in new road safety fines over the next 2 months if the number of offences recorded by high-tech cameras in April and May remains steady. The 4 mobile device and seatbelt detection cameras introduced earlier this year have already spotted more than 7,000 offences, while those drivers were issued warnings. From today, hefty fines and demerit points will apply. French officials say nearly 500 people have been arrested during a 4th night of rioting across the country. However, the Interior Minister says that's a downturn compared with more than 900 the previous night. The average age of those arrested is 17, but children as young as 13 have been detained. The disturbances began on Tuesday after police shot dead a 17-year-old. The European Space Agency's Euclid telescope is due to launch in the coming hours on a mission to map deep space. The BBC's Jonathan Amos has the story.
If you ask a scientist to describe the contents of the universe, they can only properly do it for about 5% of what's out there. All the visible stuff, the galaxies, their stars, the planets, and us. For the missing 95%, they refer to a combination of dark matter and dark energy. Together, these phenomena appear to control the shape and expansion of the cosmos, but neither is directly detectable. By making an enormous 3D map of the universe, the Euclid telescope hopes to pick up some subtle clues to the true nature of these dark components.
American actor Kevin Spacey is on trial in Britain over alleged historic sexual assaults. Prosecutors have called Mr Spacey a sexual bully during opening remarks. He's pleaded not guilty to dozens of charges over the alleged assaults of 4 men. The trial is expected to last 3 or 4 weeks. And a Canadian newspaper report says the country's tax office is investigating about 600 employees in a review of workers who may have inappropriately received pandemic benefits payments. The report says 20 Canadian Revenue Agency employees are gone from their jobs and more may depart. The Canada Emergency Response Benefit was rolled out in 2020 to offer support to millions who lost their jobs amid coronavirus shutdowns. The Revenue Agency has not immediately responded to a request for comment. That's the latest ABC News. For more at any time, you can download the ABC Listen app.
The Australian goldfields were a tough place for women. But for these two sisters...
This is a bloke's toilet.
Well, your objection has been noted.
It's a wealth of opportunity.
So what's the plan?
We're going to find rich, dumb husbands. Preferably old, so they die soon.
If they can escape their past.
Stop it, it's me.
You are mistaken. I am from Paris.
New ABC comedy, Gold Diggers.
Eureka! Just kidding.
Starts Wednesday, July 5 on ABC TV and streaming on ABC iView.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
They play on quickly, the Pies. Oh, that's an aggressive kick from Howe. Straight down the middle to Moore. A handball to Murphy. He launched the bomb inside 50. Lipinski, spoiled, roving. Elliott, play on, goal. Oh, Coast to coast, and Elliott's got 3 for the Pies.
Now Pendlebury can rebound them off half-back with that reliable left boot. And now it's marked by Lipinski. Still running here is Frampton. In space, 65 out. Unguarded goal square. All the way for Billy Frampton. Welcome back, Billy. Back down the corridor here for the Magpies. My check off for Nick Dacos. He's in space. Goal side from 45. Nick Dacos, what a finish. His stocks are rising further still.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
A stunning first half of football here at Carrara for Collingwood. 11 goals to 1. And they lead by 62 points over the Gold Coast Suns. You're with Brett Sprigg, Michael Price, Jeff Watt and Matthew Primus for the third of our 4 games on this Saturday. Get to those other results shortly. Meanwhile, around the grounds, other sports in the NRL earlier, Canberra beat Gold Coast 26 points to 22. It's in the first half, North Queensland leads the West Tigers 10 points to 0 in the NRL. And the Gabba turns rugby league mode tonight for the local derby, the Broncos and the Dolphins. Quentin Hull will bring you that. That's why he's not here, and that will be something to behold. The Broncos and Dolphins with the Gabba hosting, I think it's 3 games while Lang Park's out of action for the Women's Soccer World Cup. Of course, the cricket, can't forget that. We're about to resume, or we'll resume in a couple of hours, on day 4 at Lords. Australia 2 for 130 with an overall lead of 221 runs on England in that second innings. And, of course, coverage continues on the ABC Listen app right throughout the night. If you're listening through some parts of Australia in the regions or on ABC Sport Digital, you'll get full coverage after the footy as well for the men's second Ashes test. With, of course, Kawaja on 58 and Steve Smith on 6. Day 4 getting underway later on. Earlier in the footy at Adelaide Oval, Adelaide beat North Melbourne by 66 points. I mentioned Isaac Rankin kicking 5 goals and Darcy Fogarty kicking 4. Taylor Walker kicked 3. And Harry Sheasel had the most disposals, 31 disposals in that game. That puts Adelaide now back up into 6th, so affirming their place in the top 8. And at Docklands, the Western Bulldogs beat Fremantle by 29 points. So winners off the bye, the Western Bulldogs. And in that game, Jamal Ugle-Hagan kicked 4 goals. A couple of hangers as well, Jamal Ugle-Hagan. Michael Walters kicked 4 for Freo, as did Jai Amos. Some shining lights for the Dockers. So too Caleb Sarong had 38 touches. Marcus Bontempelli, the skipper, led the way for the Bulldogs with 27 touches, as well as 6 marks and a goal. But as far as reaction from this game, it was Lauren Borden who spoke afterwards to Caleb Poulter.
Caleb Poulter, congratulations on coming back into the AFL. You're absolutely drenched in sports drink and water. It must have been so good to be back out there and sing the song with your team today.
Yeah, it was true. I mean, like I said during the week, the boys opened me up with open arms. Bevo, Edgy, everyone, all the coaching staff, so it's been awesome. I can't even speak. It's been a great win, and obviously Gatorade out at the end, which makes it even better. So it's surreal. Probably still hasn't sunk in yet, but next couple of days I'll definitely reflect on it.
You did speak throughout the week of thanking those teammates for how they welcomed you. Was there anyone in particular that's really wrapped their arms around you and tried to make you feel welcome?
Oh, I think all the wingers. Obviously, that's my primary position. So Truck Williams had a great game tonight. Obviously, Westy came in as a sub. Scotty, Oscar Baker. There's so many ones, and obviously you got the people higher up. Bond, Libba, everyone's been welcoming me in. So it's been awesome. So yeah, can't wait to finish off the year.
Can you take me through a little bit of the last 6 months, delisted by Collingwood, then you start to try and work your way back onto an AFL list? What was it like putting in that hard work so you could be back here? Yeah, there's definitely been some hard times. I mean, I think from November to January, I was sort of, I thought if I'm really going to give it another crack, I'm going to put in 100%. And obviously Edgy down at, the Footscrape program's been really good for me. It's obviously driving some really good players, Scotty, just to name a few, that's playing tonight. So obviously put in the hard words. I think, looking back on it, definitely a blessing in disguise. So I couldn't be any happier where I am. Have you got family and friends that have come across? Because you're a South Australian, have they come across to watch today? Yeah, so I got my grandparents here watching for the first time. Obviously, mum and dad have driven over as well. So, I'm trying to find them, but there's so many people. But, no, it's awesome. I couldn't thank them enough for their support. It's surreal. And it was a pretty difficult match to come back into. It seemed like it was pretty hard for you to wrestle some momentum. How hard was it like out there on the field just to get a breakaway from Fremantle?
Yeah, well, Freo obviously a really strong side, come off a really good win over Essendon yesterday. So we just knew if we just kept being competitive, kept bringing the pressure, we're going to turn eventually. And, the start of that last quarter, bit of momentum, a few goals straight. Obviously, Westy coming in and making a impact straight away. So, yeah, it's great. Great to get the win on first game.
And you're the first side that's got a win coming off the bye, playing a team that did play last week. What was it like during the bye? Obviously, you came back to train a little bit, and then you had a few days off a little bit later than other clubs would during their bye. Can you take me into the last couple of weeks and how you've come back pretty prepared for this match?
Yeah, obviously a bit of media surrounding teams coming off the bye, but we didn't focus on it too much. We sort of, inside the four walls, we know who we are, we know what we are as a team. So it didn't really bother us too much. We knew, Freo obviously a strong side and played last week and won, like I said. So we just want to come in and play our brand of footy, which we did. And like you said, it was a bit of an arm wrestle for the first 3 quarters, and we just stepped over them in the fourth, which was awesome. So, credit to the boys. They were awesome. So.
And then you have Collingwood of all teams next week. What's it like leading into that match for you?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully if I get the all clear, it'll be Sue. Obviously was with them for 2 years, had a few hard times at the back end. So yeah, it'll be a pretty good feeling. I don't think I'll ever be more pumped to play a team than Collingwood. Obviously everything that happened. So yeah, if I got the all clear, it's going to be really exciting. Obviously nerves kicking in. Still got a lot of close mates down there. But yeah, it'll just be awesome. So I can't wait. Hopefully.
Will you all sit down now and watch Collingwood play Gold Coast now that's on right as we speak?
Probably not. I mean, that's probably a thing throughout the week. We'll just enjoy the win, not focus on other teams until we come back. But they're obviously a really strong side. Top of the ladder. Credit to Fly and the coaching staff, bringing them up. But, there's definitely areas of the game that need work on. So, obviously, hopefully I can, bring a few holes and see what happens.
Thanks for your time, Caleb. Really appreciate it. Go enjoy it with your family that's here.
Thank you very much.
Caleb Poulter, the Bulldogs mid-season draft pick with a word there on his former side. Collingwood are in control here to the tune of 62 points. And, of course, coming up later on, Essendon versus Port Adelaide at the MCG. We'll preview that with Corbin Middlemass at 3/4 time here, about half an hour away. Recapping the MRO news around Geelong's Brad Close and that tackle on Aaron Francis, that it was assessed and that the reason given was that Francis gains possession of the ball with momentum in the Sydney Swans' back pocket and is tackled by Close. It was the view of the MRO that despite having Francis in a vulnerable position, Close attempted to slow momentum in taking him to ground, and that in the circumstances he was not careless in tackling in that matter. So as a result, no further action was taken. A couple of texts just lastly, 0437 774 774. G'day team, Grant here in freezing Hobart. A text from North Hobart Oval where the toilets didn't work. The PA was so poor we couldn't hear the siren. The lights so bad the game finished in darkness. But Tasmania beat Queensland.
Ooh.
Bring on the new stadium. I saw updates and some pictures from that. They had a good crowd there at North Hobart Oval. It's a great old footy ground. And good on you, Grant, for your correspondence. And Fran from Melbourne, thank you for your text as well. Enjoying the call. Go Pies with all the buzz around the Gold Coast coach. No wonder why Gold Coast are not at their best and so up and down. There is instability. Ooh, big call, Fran. But Stuart Dew, I think, is aware of the pressure and the fact that there is still that carrot of their maiden finals appearance, but this is a setback. They're down by 62 points at half-time. Jeff White, Matthew Promise, where does it go from here?
Well, I just noticed they've made their sub. It looks like the Suns have made their subs.
Yeah, it looks like Hawago Oya has been subbed out. So as a result, Rory Atkins into the game.
Yeah, they have just got to get their hands on the footy. And when they get their hands on the footy, they've got to be able to use it, spread really aggressively.
Bit stiff. You kick the only goal and you get subbed out of the game.
Yes, but obviously not giving them what they need, that forward pressure and their wing roll there. So gone with a bit of more of a mature head, and interested to see if they tag also, if Dewey tries to shut down one of them to see if they can stem some kind of flow.
20 touches for Nick Dacos. He had, 37 last week. He had 37 last time these sides went as well. So it's a bit of a thing going with the Gold Coast Suns. Nick Dacos as I say, star continues to rise. It's the Pies by 62 points. Second half underway. Here's Michael Price on Grandstand AFL.
Umpire bangs it down in the middle of Carrara. Good bounce. Witts versus Cameron. Witts got it conclusively. The umpire said that it was a shepherd out. Didn't see it myself. It made two ruckmen going at it. Cameron wins the free kick. Handball back to Maynard. Freely running through the corridor. The left foot delightful. Into the path of Elliott, who took a strong contested mark in front of Ben Long. And Jamie Elliott, immediately in the start of the second half, is going to have a ping at his fifth goal.
And that's what I'm talking about, the actual ability to not ball watch, but actually get on your... Lukosius was standing side by side with Maynard then. free kick, and it took a while to make the decision. Maynard was the one that kicked it to Elliott. He just went straight through, got the hands from Darcy and inside forward 50.
He'll have to let this one go from about 50. He's just about to stroll into the arc. He's on an angle to the left. He strikes it quite nicely. It goes right. Off hands, it'll go through for one behind, but the Pies now break out to a 63-point lead, 73 points.
That's the story of the night, isn't it, Whitey? The defensive stuff. Lukosia's just asleep. He's just come out there 63 points down after half-time and let his man have an easy inside 50.
Flanders marks at left half back here for the Suns. Looks at the options, pulls the kick short for Ellis. Hand pass back here inboard for Flanders. Works it now off to Swallow. Run down from behind on the two-man tackle. It was great work from Hoskin Elliott and also Moore. Ellis propels the Suns forward again. And then Maynard gets back and intercepts for the Collingwood side. 45 out from defensive goal on the flank.
Compared to that one, the pressure on Ellis's kick, which allowed them to intercept the ball, was chalk and cheese compared to the Suns' pressure.
Margin of game high 63 as Moore just on the 45, a short kick to Will Hoskin Elliott.
And the Suns have set up reasonably in front of him as well, so it makes it a little hard. And to be honest with you, not a lot of movement from the Pies. He goes long down the line, looking for Cameron. Beautiful front and centre from Crisp. The Rove, the handball to Mitchell. Off a step. Frampton going back with the one hand. He tracked the ball to ground level. Picked up by Myercheck. Under pressure. Oh! He hit the top of the goalpost. That was a flying shot from Brodie Myercheck. But another behind to the Pies. 74 plays 10. 64 points the margin as the Suns bring it back in. Through the hands of Atkins. He kicks it. Nice mark taken there by Mac Andrew on the boundary line.
Just forgive me, because there is a Swans player called Lachlan McAndrew. So when I see Mac Andrew, I just think of Lockie McAndrew. But here is Mac Andrew. The ladder kicks up the outer side. 2-on-2. Down in space there by Ben King. The umpire spotted the free kick for a high tackle going Pendlebury's way. Or in fact, it was a Collingwood teammate, but Pendlebury takes the advantage. Swings it across here for Adams, who marks the middle of Carrara Stadium. Call to play on now. Chops the hand pass in here for Noble. Goes back inside Anderson. Fires on goal from 45. John Noble. What a finish. What a player he is in this Collingwood side. We mentioned they're keen to lock away his future at the club. That contract is coming. And the Magpies have kept coming. They're out by 70 points. 3.5 played third term here at Carrara on ABC Sport. This is Grandstand AFL.
Keep going like that, it's going to go to 3, not 2. That's for sure. What about that kick from Pendlebury?
Again.
To kick it sideways pretty much towards on the favoured side of Taylor Adams, but the run from behind. I mean, there was 3 Suns players there that could have checked Noble. And we saw that, I think it was the first or second quarter. You know that link of play that he had? I think it was the second quarter. No one checked him. Same thing there. Just ball watching.
By the way, that was the fourth lowest scoring first half by the Gold Coast Suns in their history, which, given they've had some pretty lean years, of course, in their formative period, that's quite a surprise.
Well, you've got that record book open. I just bookmark the page from Gold Coast Suns Collingwood, because I reckon it's going to get uglier. Witts versus Cameron. Witts got it down, but straight to Cameron. Cameron slapped it away, though. Now it's contested at ground level. Witts did well to get it to Swallow. Off a step, he kicks it to half forward. Casbolt in a good battle against Murphy, actually won out and gathered at ground level. He let loose the ball, though. Noble, subterranean handball to Will Hoskin Elliott on the wing. He has a bounce, measures a pass. Beautiful. It's hit Jamie Elliott on the 50, 45 degrees to the right. Probably a little bit out of his distance. And Hoskin Elliott kept running freely, unabated, unchecked. Ran inside 50, takes a mark, 45 out, and chips it back. Poor defending from the Suns to Adams. Training, they're the same colour as Witches' hats at the moment, the Gold Coast Suns. Collingwood making them look like that. And it's not just hyperbole. Another pass across half forward went to Oleg Markov, unmarked. And if there's a football team that looks absolutely dejected right now, it's the Gold Coast Suns. Body language is awful. Oleg Markov's going to have a shot from 50. It's just on the edge of his distance. The former Sun, unwanted, thought about giving up footy. Craig McRae's here, have a crack at the Pies. He leans back. It's a beautiful kick. Inflicting more pain on his former club. Oleg Markov. This is a Pies procession on the glitter strip. 13-8-86. Plays 1-4-10. 76 points the margin. 6 minutes gone, third term. We're going to come up with more superlatives, boys. Shellacking. And you did West Coast last week, Spriggy, so you're the expert.
And everyone went up and rubbed his mo. Everyone went up from the Collingwood players went and rubbed his mo.
For those who don't know, Oleg Markov has one of the best barbershop
it's a great mo. It's a great mo. It's just outstanding. And the setup, the way they set that up, Gold Coast, and you're talking, they were zoning grass. There was 3 players in the forward pocket of the Suns, and all the other Collingwood players were on the fat side. And they were standing there zoning grass. You got to push over. You got to squash it up.
This could be the death knell for Stuart Jordan right here, right tonight. And whether it's fair or not, the players just aren't doing it.
76 points is Collingwood's lead early in this third term. Waiting for a clearance. Penalty was collared by Rail, but got the kick away. Crisp onto it now. Breaks the tackle of Atkins. He's 50 from goal. Out to the 2-on-2. Now a free kick here to go the way of Frampton, who had the arms held. So that is just more pain for the Gold Coast Suns. Ballard gives away the free kick, and Frampton here is 15 out, only a very slight angle to the left.
Where are you commentating next week, Spriggy? Because this is 2 weeks in a row.
I've got Giants Hawthorn next week, which I don't think will be one-sided, but it's not going to be
back for you.
Blockbuster. Yeah. 76 points. This to make it 82. Billy Frampton for his second. Pumps it into the second tier. And well, every club's had their turn at boosting their percentage. The Collingwood percentage doesn't need boosting. They're already the highest by far, but they are just making it very, very easy here against the Gold Coast Suns. 82 points is the margin. 14-8 plays 1-4. 8 go on third term grandstand AFL.
And Nick Dacos started on the bench at the start of that quarter. He's just come on, so it's going to be more pain for the Suns in the midfield.
Absolute luxury. Absolutely. Guys, stunned. I've got...
it is. The Suns aren't giving anything. A whimper is about the only thing they're giving at the moment, and they're allowing the Collingwood to turn on a show, and it is great to watch.
Well, 28 now, 64, plus 64 in disposals, 25-11 the clearances, 37-24 the inside 50s, equating to an 82-point margin, which is ugly. We're back into the middle. Lockwell are providing a little bit of resistance. Got the ball out to Rowell. He's immediately beset upon. Got the kick out to Fiorini on the wing. He kicks it to centre half forward, leading the charge there, Maynard. Maynard did beautifully. Took the mark immediately, flared it to left half forward. A beautiful mark taken by McCreary. Over the top of McPherson. They're doing everything. He chipped it to Nick Dacos. At half forward, back across to Scott Pendlebury. Time to fake. Then the double pump. And then inexplicably and unusually, Scott Pendlebury's turned it over. Mark taken by Ballard in the right back pocket.
Swinging across the defensive goal mouth for Mac Andrew. And now to Atkins, the sub. By the way, no change to the sub for the Pies. Harvey Harrison still yet to come into the game. And why not? They're all okay so far.
He'd be licking his lips to get on, wouldn't he?
Oscar Elliott fired out the hand pass. Flanders had to retrieve the loose ball. Slung the ground by McCreary. 45 out from Collingwood's attack, and we'll ball it up again. Anthony points out on the SMS. The Tour de France starts tonight. Is that right? You're a big fan of the Tour, Whitey or Matty?
Yep, love watching it.
Okay. Wimbledon starts tomorrow night, so it's one of those, or Monday. So it's one of those great years, especially when the Ashes is involved. As Hostin Elliott's kick is smothered. Swallow. Loose ball gathered here by Atkins up in the air, and now it's Moore coming in late to make the contest on Holman. And it's out of bounds for a throw-in. Collingwood 14-8-92. Gold Coast remains stuck on 1-4-10. And their only goal kicker, Huago Oya, was subbed out at half-time.
He only had the 3 touches. He kicked a goal. The throw-in around the interchange gates is a shallow one. Witts nudged under it by Cox. Still got the hands to it. Into the hands of Rowell. His handball cut off by Lipinski at ground level. Gives it now to Mitchell. Wheeling around onto his left in the Cameron direction, coming back Will Powell, roved by Hill, half smothered by Mac Andrew, but it'll still work out for Collingwood. Noble, no, he can't gather. Holman could, tapped it into the arms of Fiorini, immediately tackled. Noble kept going, got the agate, put it through the legs of Rao, picked up by Fiorini again. It's a scrap 40 metres out from the Collingwood goal. The Gold Coast managed to hold it up, and the umpire's going to ball it up.
Any side in the AFL would love McQuarrie in their side. Wow, just the ability to chase down and tackle and pressure.
It's his 50th game tonight. The birthday boy, Matt Rowell, tries to clear here for the Suns. Lukosius sliding after it now. Ricochets back to Josh Dacos. McPherson makes a contest for him. Awkward pick up by Humphrey, who was collected by Pendlebury. The umpire will ball it up right next to the bullseye in the middle of Carrara Stadium. Collingwood 14-8, plays Gold Coast 1-4. The margin is 82. 11 gone third term. Umpire wastes no time. Laid down by Casbolt. Pendlebury competes again here with Weller. A rolling maul, middle of the ground, is trying to work it clear. Markov, Nick Dacos was out there as well. Loose ball, just thumped forward by Hoskin Elliott. High inside 50, they go to the Pies. Framped it up from the side. McPherson to drop defensively for the Suns. Goes to clear. It's off the chest of Ainsworth. Picked up again by Hoskin Elliott and goes wide to find Elliott, 55 from goal. Now pokes it into the pocket. And it's a simple mark taken by Nick Dacos. On his chest, 35, make it 40 out on a 45-degree angle left-hand side.
And just that ability to spread again. He was in the contest, it was at centre forward.
So Nick Dacos, fancy himself with a set shot from here. And why not? Everything else is coming up Nick Dacos this year. The Brownlow medal favourite. Already with 23 touches and a goal tonight. Sets it on its way. Misses near side. Well, he thinks it's a goal. And so do a few of the fans, but he hasn't quite seen that the signal has come through for a behind. So it's 14, what was the scoreboard? 14-9-93 leads Gold Coast 1-4-10.
Oh, the Gold Coast have tried to extract it, and we're being daring, but Collingwood were up to the task defensively. Darcy Moore, up to anything. He just breaks a tackle. Kicks it inside 50. Big fly. Rove by Frampton. Oh, and then he taps it into the path of Mason Cox. He taps it forward. Collins couldn't pick it up. Lipinski going in for the Pies. Tackled into the ground by Rowell at the top of the square. We're going to have a ball up. Congested footy. Every player on the park is in front of the centre circles. So the umpire goes in, throws it up. Casbolt versus Cox. Casbolt gets it down. Cox picks it up, handball, Pendlebury, goal, should be. Oh no, I called it. And Scott Pendlebury has sprayed it. He had very little pressure on him, one behind.
Well, it's on his right foot though.
Oh, his right foot, sorry. He's
right
only 15 metres out. An absolute legend. I thought he might have just nailed it. 94 plays 10, 84 points in the margin.
Atkins, who was last week's sub, and again tonight. Unchanged team for the Suns that smashed Hawthorn. It's a far cry from that tonight. It's the classy Magpies. Will come back here for a hold going Collingwood's way, and it will be against Ellis, or Lukosius in fact, and Darcy Moore will have it. Glenn off the SNS says, at least West Coast has an achievable bar of success this round. Don't be the team that loses by the largest margin. Well, that's the task they have to achieve, West Coast. And when they play tomorrow, Quainer swings it across to the outer side here. Jeremy Howe marks on the wrang of the wing here at Carrara. Works them forward of halfway, sensing something up ahead. Elliott was nudged this time by Ballard. So Elliott, with 4 goals to his name tonight, has it just fall to the wing.
Takes his time. Still, again, every player on the park is more or less in front of him. He's just forward to centre wing. He's actually signalling for some movement. He gets it from Cox, puts it in his direction. It went over his head. That's a mean feat. Roved by Frampton, immediately gets it to boot, kicks it out of bounds on the full in the right forward pocket. It will be free kick, and it's going to be taken by Will Powell for the Suns. Suns trailing by 84 points, and Collingwood plus 73 in disposals, 25-14 in clearances.
Sometimes you are just beaten, but the effort hasn't been there from the Suns since that hot start from Collingwood. And Stuart Dew spoke during the week about what they were trying to do, bring the pressure, know full well that Collingwood can cut you up and be that dominant team. And tonight they've just been listless. And that is going to fall squarely on the coach because the Suns are close to their best. Tuke Miller, the only real notable absentee from their best team. A couple of names having come back recently, and that is going to be the storyline out of this game, as well as how hot the Pies are and reaffirming their place on top of the ladder. The heat on Stuart Dew continues up here on the Gold Coast. 84 points as Collingwood's lead. Knocked out toward the boundary line on that far wing, kept alive by Maynard. Through hands, Hoskin Elliott. Now Mitchell works it down the line now. Almost knocked away by Atkins. He dives in hard. McCreary wins the football here. Lays the tackle on McPherson, brings him down high. Free kick will go the Gold Coast way inside their defensive 50 at the southern end. 14-10 plays 1-4.
Sorry, mate, you're right there. The effort stuff. You get blown away in the first quarter, you expect a response in the second. There wasn't. Half-time, you expect a response at the start of the third. And
they're getting worse.
It's going the other way.
Well, the start of that quarter was Lukosius.
Yep, straight away.
Just trailing Maynard. First play of the game.
45 inside 50s to 24 at the moment. Gold Coast bring it forward, Swallow. But there's a raft of players. Humphreys only had 3. Holman with 4. Ben Long with 4. Ben King's touched it 5 times. They're getting starved of possession forward of centre. Long kick. Casbolt. Good mark taken in front of his opposite number, Darcy Moore. He tries to measure a pass and get King into the game. He couldn't pick it up. Murphy could. He let loose the handball. It was cut off by Roses. Handball backwards to Swallow outside the arc. Atkins gets around his opponent. It's a 2-metre kick to Weller. It was actually clever. And Weller lowers the eyes. Hits Ben Ainsworth, one of those players who's only had the 5 touches. 45 out. And he's hard against the boundary line.
But it just... The defensive pressure of Collingwood, that was so hard for them to get it in. And he's on the boundary line, 45 metres out.
Well, you'd think with the margin, at least the Gold Coast would be leading the tackles. Collingwood are leading that stat by 6. So Ben Ainsworth from the boundary line to give the Suns a little bit of joy. It's a nice kick. That's a lovely kick, in fact. It's a goal. It's only the Suns' second goal. It's much needed in the contest. 14-10-94, plays 2-4, 16. And we're back down to a 78-point margin in favour of the Pies. 17 gone, third term.
You had the live ladder up there before. It'd be interesting to see what the damage has been done to the Suns' percentage, because that was very healthy in their fight to get the 8, which looks a long way away at the moment with this game, but I reckon that would have taken a significant hit.
Yeah, 10th coming into the game and now back to 11th, and it has taken a bit of a hit as far as this margin, as you might expect. But to me, it's just it's what this game represents, Matty and Jeff. As we spoke about, this is centre stage. There's a big crowd, yes, mostly Collingwood fans, 20,000 in the building, standalone time slots, Saturday twilight against the ladder leaders, and it just has not been there from the Gold Coast Suns. As I know what's at stake for them, chasing that first finals appearance potentially. Sub, by the way, being made by Collingwood. So Jeremy Howe subbed out. So we'll keep an eye on that as far as whether it's an aggravation or linked to that arm injury. But in the meantime, Harvey Harrison into the game. Clearance won by the Suns as Humphrey puts it down the corridor, leading up and marking again. Here is Ainsworth. Tumbles to ground, 40 out.
So when we talk about the disappointment, is their A game is a tough game to play. It's a clearance, tackle, contested possession style, and they just haven't done that. That's the most disappointing. Sometimes they can do that and still get beaten by a team that's just superior with ball in hand, but they've been really poor around the ball and with their entries inside 50.
Well, Ben Ainsworth, having kicked the goal a moment ago. He kicked their first goal against the Hawks last week. Here he is for goals 2 and 3 for the Suns. Can they recover some pride in this third term? It just gets there to the goal line. A second straight goal to Ben Ainsworth. And they cut the lead back to 72. It's Collingwood 14-10-94. The Gold Coast Suns are 3-4-22. Your texts, as ever, are welcome. 0437 774 774. Particularly when things are playing out as they are. Darren in Northcote, Victoria says, I actually thought this would be a danger game for the Pies. Glad to be wrong, but astonished at the massive lead. Challenge for the Pies is to play it out. Well, I guess in some way, the result is beyond doubt, certainly. But as far as wanting to sort of build on that strong first half, quarter by quarter, is paramount for this team if they're going to flex their muscle.
Well, I was with Darren too. I thought the Suns would be a really good chance for it. I've got egg on my face.
You tipped them.
They've put Lockie Weller on ball now, so he's been a half back and somebody who's got a bit of leg speed through the middle and can kick the ball nicely to the Suns forward. So we'll see if that makes any change.
Well, it's some very good footballers in front of him. Collingwood just bringing the power now. There's the clearance there by Jared Witts. It came off his boot into the hands of Rowell. He's immediately tackled, let loose the ball, pick up by Nick Dacos. His handball sharked by Humphrey. The run of Fiorini has a ping from 55. Braden Fiorini launches it. Oh, it's a lovely bounce if you're an off spinner. It went right angles across the face of goal, one behind. Some spark from the Suns. 94 plays 23, 71 points the margin now.
All around their centre bounce clearance the last 3 inside 50s from.
Get time on here in the third term. Noble brings it beyond defensive 50 at a one-on-one. Lipinski with a spoil on McPherson. Chris wrapped up in a two-man tackle as well. Lipinski wins the loose ball. Mitchell can't keep it alive. It's going to be a throw-in in front of us here between wing and half forward at Gold Coast's attacking half. Marcus in Chile, South Melbourne says at least my Dockers went down fighting today. This is embarrassing. Is it farewell Stuart Dew, guys? Well, that's what we're sort of amounting to this pressure, and he doesn't quite have the protection of that 2 years like Adam Simpson does. His contract is up end of next year. I think Stuart Dew is well aware of what needs to happen this year if he's to keep his job. As to whether it's this week or next week or something like that, we'll have to wait and see. But they've been just soundly beaten. And then some by the Pies. Pendlebury goes forward of halfway. Inside 50 now. At the drop, Rowell in defence for the Gold Coast is brought to ground and will ball up 40 out from Collingwood's goal at the southern end. It's they who lead 14-10-94 to 3-5-23. We'll preview Essendon and Port Adelaide shortly.
Umpire's going to throw it up. Cameron versus Witts. Witts gets it down in the path of Rowell. He gives it off there to Swallow, who tumbles it forward to the wing. It bounces over the shoulders of Ben King. Well rove by Noble at the back, and the handball to Oleg Markov. To the standing Billy Frampton. He kicks it into the pocket. Almost getting there. Bobby Hill, who had to almost jump the fence as well. He was moving that fast. Boy, he can move at velocity. But the ball's going over the boundary line. We're going to throw in 45 out underneath the small scoreboard, which shows the Pies kicking the Gold Coast on the glitter strip by 71 points. Umpire to throw it in. Every player on the park in front of halfway. So congested footy. Witts down to Humphrey. The long left footer from the youngster into the Lukosius versus Moore contest. It goes over the back. Lukosius can't track it. Towed off the deck by Murphy. Back over centre wing. Bobby Hill exploded onto the ball but then went without it. Picked up by Fiorini. Through the hands of Anderson. Roses, clever. To the feet of Lukosius, who tows it forward. They're appealing for deliberate, but that's a basic skill error, and please don't do it. They didn't, thank God.
But just to repeat the sub, Jeremy Howe, it's tactical, of course, but also would play into how they want to manage him coming back from that serious arm injury as well, and they can as well.
Yeah, completely with the scoreboard in the balance, in the way it is. Like the Suns did last week with Weller, just look after your better players coming back from injury.
Eyes by 71. Cameron and Witts doing the ruck work. Tunnelled out the back by Pendlebury. Comes loose here with Roses trying hard, and now a ball up again. 60 out from Gold Coast goal at the scoreboard end.
I know it's just looks like he's copped a stinger, or it's at the back of the pack there.
3 going third turn. Rowell puts it inside 50. Second white Lukosius. Roses. Falcon there off the boncer Billy Frampton, and now Weller is brought to ground deep in the left forward pocket.
By Maynard, but he's copped a bit of a stinger, I reckon. It's on his right shoulder.
He's got that just arm hanging there. He's just feeling of it. It's always strapped to. So he's obviously got some issues with it. But he's a tough customer. Nicely rolled there. Roses, that was heading towards goal. It was beautifully read by Billy Frampton, acting as goalkeeper, ran it through. 4 are behind. So the Suns, that's 4 scores in a row, which is incredible. Hasn't happened so far.
Quainer kicks out, finds Maynard. Braden Maynard had the fitness test, the shoulder concern, but passed that with flying colours. Showed no signs of discomfort tonight, or as any Collingwood player. Running start from Witts was slightly impeded there by Cameron. It's off hands over for a throw-in between wing and half forward in Gold Coast's attacking half. 70 points as Collingwood's lead. 14-10 plays 3-6. Great to have your company via ABC Radio, News Radio, ABC Listen App, of course, ABC Sport Digital. Here's Michael Price.
Throw in right in front of the grandstand commentary box. Witts, Rowell, nicely tapped down to Humphrey. Off a step, he tumbles it towards centre half forward. Ellis had the set. He had to wait for it too, with Maynard bearing down. Courageous work. Took a chest mark right on the arc of 50. He's sort of signalling for the run past if he can get it, but chips it forward. Now it's going to be...
15.
It wasn't the required distance. The mark was taken by Noah Anderson. Now, that's got to be 15 if he's marked it inside 50, but never mind. The umpire's going to ball it up right on the edge of the centre square now. Witts now tapped it down to Anderson. Off a step, he kicks it to the top of the square. Lukosius with the set. Couldn't quite take the mark. Collingwood up to it defensively, and they're going to hold it up 35 metres out from the Suns' goal.
Rob from Perth reckons the Suns should have Damien Hardwick on speed dial. That's the other sort of narrative as well, as far as where he ends up next and what that looks like if he's available. I'm sure Gold Coast will be asking questions. Swallows kick goes high up and under. Holman crashes the pack. Pendlebury can work it away by a hand here. Lipinski assists as well, but he's pushed off the kick by Atkins and it goes out of bounds on the full. So it'll be a Gold Coast ball from deep in the left forward pocket, 40 out with Braden Fiorini. What do you reckon, guys? Hardwick at the Suns?
Well,
Fiorini. Might be a long form answer as it goes up to the top of the goal square. Ben King at a running start. At the drop, Frampton almost dacked down there by Humphrey. And the umpire will ball it up again.
I don't think they'll react off this one loss, which I know everyone will be up in arms, you should, but it's going to be the pattern of work over the next 6-7 weeks. And, they've got Port in Adelaide next week, so it doesn't get any simpler.
Down to Rowell from the stoppage, who snaps, and the Suns find a quick goal. Birthday boy Matt Rowell pops it through for their 4th goal of the night. And they trail by 64 points. It's Collingwood 14-10-94. The Suns are 4-6-30, 26 and a half played third term.
But this is obviously, they've kicked 3 in a row now. Where was this in the first quarter? Where was this in the second quarter? It's going through a patch of dead time, but it's, you got to show pride in that jumper. And so I guess what the Suns are trying to do now, the onus is on them. There's nothing that the coaching staff can do. They can do a few positional changes, but how much fight have they got in them? How much fight do they have?
They're winning the clearances 13-7 this quarter, the Suns.
Yeah, and that's their game style, isn't it? And they've been able to get that back a little bit, which has given an opportunity to hit the scoreboard.
The Pies still leading the inside 50s this quarter, 15-7, and overall 47-30, and 63 plus 63 in disposal, so the Pies owning the Agates still. But the Suns, with the last 5 scoring efforts of this quarter, so it's a mini run. We're back into the middle. It's going to be a free kick pulled. It'll go to Darcy Cameron against Jared Withs for a Shepherd. Matt Primus, Jeff White, two great ruckmen. Tell me, for
he's putting
sake.
His hands out when he goes up, so he knows he can't compete against him in the air, so he's trying to negate him when he's trying to go up.
That's Jeff White. Great explanation. Thank you, Whitey. Ball kicked inside 50 for the Pies. Ballard's pushed his opponent in the back. No. Will Hoskin Elliott went for the big dive, and I thought it was there. But Ballard takes a defensive mark. Pies fans don't like it. He chips it forward, and now Noah Anderson takes it.
Taking plenty of those this year, Charlie Ballard. Anderson plays on from defensive 50. Heads away through. Pressure comes from Mychet. Goes by hand though to Swallow. He can just flare it wide to the outer logo for Ellis. Settles it for a moment here. Pies by 64 as we approach 3/4 time. The former Tiger Ellis tumbles it inside forward 50 on the half volley. It was an awkward pick up for Ben King. Left it behind for Matt Rowell, who breaks through Mitchell. Now snaps on goal for a second straight goal. That's 4 in a row for the Gold Coast Suns in this third term. A second for Matt Rowell, and they've cut the margin back to 58.
Well, the Pies have shown a habit of doing this, letting teams have run on goals, and normally it's the scoreboard's a lot closer, and that's what brings them in, or that's why they find themselves behind at 3/4 time, which has been 11 times this year. Unfortunately, won't be happening in this game here, but they've got going because their clearance work and their contested work's picked up to an acceptable level, and that's given them opportunities to kick the ball inside 50, and because it's more of that game, Matt Rowell all of a sudden becomes important because that's his style of footy.
The margin was at one stage 84, now it's 58.
Yeah, 92 I think was the biggest. Some shape was it?
I don't know if it was that high.
I didn't think it reached the 90s.
They scored it because that's they won 4-10 for a long time.
Back into the middle, Witts down to Rowell. Immediately claimed by Cameron. Still got the handball away to Swallow though. Now Anderson received that handball. Goes forward, Lukosius, didn't take the mark, should have. Gathered at ground level though, wheeled around, kicked it to the top of the square. Casbolt off hands of Moore, couldn't gather. Maynard slaps it into the path of his teammate. And Josh Dacos, he toes it back into the corridor. It's cut off by Atkins. Handball back to Sam Collins. His tumbling kick, awful. It's cut off at centre-half back by Tom Mitchell, who slows everything down and says, well, chill out. Interesting, Rory Atkins still with a couple of years left on his contract as well. Still not a regular in the side. He signed a long-term contract a year or two ago.
50.
And a 50-metre penalty is going to go. I don't know what that was for, but...
Ellis moved off the mark.
So Tom Mitchell is now going to be promoted basically to the front of the centre square, 60 metres out, too far out for him.
Had a neck complaint at the start of the week, Tom Mitchell, passed his fitness test. The Pies are a pain in the neck for the Suns tonight. Pops it high to the hot spot now, and it's a big defensive clunk taken down there by Jared Witts. Fullback here for Gold Coast. 58 points is Collingwood's lead. The Suns have momentum. It's all consolation here, though, late in the third term. Kicks a turnover as well from Witts to Maynard, going back inside 50, Maynard. Lurking down there was Harvey Harrison. And they'll rebound the ball here, the Gold Coast Suns again, to the outer side. Holman swoops through, wrapped up by Maynard. It was slipped high, but the umpire says play on. And Ellis can get them going again here for the Gold Coast Suns towards a one-on-one.
Ben King can't quite take the mark. Roses at ground level provided the contest and got it out to Lukosius. Lukosius on the boundary, handball back to Roses. His left foot kick inside 50, looking for Noah Anderson, and it dropped onto his chest, just out of the reach of Patrick Lipinski, as the Suns fans appeal for Jack Crisp knocking him down after he received it. But
he's going to have a set shot here on three-quarter time there, Pricey.
Well, there's only about 5 seconds left to go. Thank you, Whitey, as Noah Anderson, no stranger to a pressure shot after the siren. Of course, last year nailed one against the Tigers to win the game from a similar spot. He'll have this shot from just inside the arc of 50, 45-degree angle to the right. He's had 24 disposals with 6 clearances yet to bother the scorers. To cut the margin. Anderson gets underneath it, pushes it a little left, and it's only the one behind. And that is three-quarter time. 94 plays 37. It's a 57-point margin at three-quarter time in favour of Collingwood after they led by 62 at half-time and 26 at quarter time. 9 different goal kickers for them. Elliott has 4, 2 each for Hill and Frampton. Singles for Noble, Markov, Lipinski, Nick Dacos, Jack Crisp and Mason Cox. Meanwhile, for the Gold Coast Suns, Matt Rowell has 2, both in that third term. 2 for Ainsworth and 1 to Hawago Oya, who has been subbed out. It's the Pies by 57 points at the final change here at Carrara on ABC Radio, News Radio, and by the ABC Listen app. You're listening to Grandstand AFL.
With the ABC Listen app, you can take the footy with you wherever you go. Off to walk the dog?
Take the footy.
Going camping?
Take the footy.
Picnic in the park?
Take the footy.
ABC Sport's expert coverage of the AFL
Incredible grab.
and the NRL. Every goal, try, mark and tackle, live and commercial free. So whatever you're up to,
Take the footy.
take the footy with you on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Adams, who marks the middle of Carrara Stadium. Call to play on now. Chops the hand pass in here for Noble. Goes back inside Anderson. Fires on goal from 45. John Noble.
They're the same colour as Witches' hats at the moment, the Gold Coast Suns. Collingwood making them look like that. And it's not just hyperbole. Another pass across half forward went to Oleg Markov, unmarked. And if there's a football team that looks absolutely dejected right now, it's the Gold Coast Suns. The former Sun, unwanted. He leans back. It's a beautiful kick. Inflicting more pain on his former club. Oleg Markov. This could be the death knell for sure too. Right here, right tonight. And whether it's fair or not, the players just aren't doing it.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Three-quarter time at Carrara, where despite some late momentum to the home side, Collingwood are in control to the tune of 57 points. Up next, we're off to the MCG for Essendon and Port Adelaide, and Corbin Middlemass leads our commentary team there. Corbin.
Thanks, Briggy. It's 11 degrees. It is a cool night. Showers have been clearing throughout the afternoon, so we're not expecting any rain during play, which is good news tonight at the G. It's a standalone Saturday night fixture for Essendon and Port Adelaide. The first time that the two teams have played at the MCG since 1998. Would you believe? They actually christened Dockland Stadium way back in the year 2000. It was the first ever fixture at that ground, and when they've played in Melbourne since, it's traditionally been across town. So the MCG tonight, the stage for Port Adelaide, the hottest team in footy on an 11-game win streak, up against the Bombers, who are trying to defend their spot in the 8. There is no late change for Essendon. which means Dylan Shield is the sub, somewhat surprisingly, coming back from a foot injury. Meanwhile, for Port Adelaide, first Junior Rioli was in the team. He was replaced by Josh Sin. Sin's now out. Narkle is in. So after the team that won last, Port Adelaide have brought back Burgoyne as the sub, and Sin is the man who misses. If you kept up with all of that, essentially one late change, Narkle holds his place in the 22. It's Essendon and Port Adelaide, Spriggy. Our next stop, Saturday night footy in round 16.
Roger Corbin heading there shortly. Thank you for that. Earlier, Adelaide beat North Melbourne by 66 and the Western Royals of Fremantle by 29 points at Docklands. Listeners to local radio Gold Coast, you'll head back to the NRL where it's the other two local sides, the Brisbane Broncos and the Dolphins, to face off at the Gabba. In the meantime, Collingwood by 57 here at the final change. Your experts are Jeff White and Matthew Primus.
Well, purely the Suns got back into that. Two things. They actually got their clearance stuff going. It was 15-7 clearances in that quarter, which they needed to because they only had 9 up until half-time. So they got that part of their game, which then gave them some looks inside 50. They didn't dominate that area. And also the intangible, which you can't give a stat for, but the Pies' pressure definitely dropped off. You know, not only around the ball, but their defensive stuff. The Suns did some nice kicks, but it was more the Pies got a bit comfortable with the scoreboard, and for the last 10 or 12 minutes their intensity dropped off and the Suns made them pay. So last quarter, whether the Pies can get back to the level they did in the first half, or the Suns can keep adding some more respectability to the scoreboard.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the key messages they'll speak about at three-quarter time, the Pies, about the ability just to stop the momentum of when sides get a run on. I think we spoke about Adelaide got a bit of a run on last week, and so that's something they need to improve on, something they need to actually, they're getting their hands on the ball. They're winning that. There's not an issue at all, but maybe just getting to the point where if the side gets 2 or 3 in a row, let's just get the ball. Let's get them to chase us. They're such a skillful side. They just chip the ball around, get them, wear them down, you know, gain a little bit of, get the momentum going back in their way. So, and I think that would be a real learning curve for Collingwood. But apart from that, it's been an outstanding night for them so far.
Well, on a crowd figure as well, which we were hoping upwards of 20,000 and potentially a record crowd, but there are a few pockets of empty seats, and I know that's because that, as I say, the AFL's official airline partner let some Collingwood fans down and left them stranded in Melbourne. But in the meantime, I'd be happy with what they're hearing and seeing with this 57-point lead, albeit it's been cut back by the Gold Coast Suns. Can the home side roll on and at least do something for consolation here in this final term? It's underway now. Witts wins the clearance. The Underwood's half forward, off hands of Casbolt. Pendlebury's hand pass picked off here by Lukosius, who fires on goal, and it hits the left behind post. So it's the right idea from the Gold Coast Suns, trying to find that attacking thrust and keep it going in this fourth term. It's just no change to our three-quarter time score, out of bounds on the full Collingwood ball.
So Nathan Murphy, right back pocket, lengthy kick to halfback looking for Cox, off his hands. Chris Brove beautifully tumbled it towards the wing. Ballard gathers nicely, immediately looks into the corridor and turns it over. That was an awful kick, but Bobby Hill dropped it, towed off the deck there by Will Powell and cut off by Markov, playing well against his old club too. He gave it to Nick Dacos, playing pretty well himself at 26 disposals and 8 clearances. Now he flares it out just beyond centre wing to his brother Josh. Another 20-metre pass. Markov's run on, uninhibited. And he's taken the mark 70 from goal. He's looking for all options. He sees one. He honours the lead there of Crisp, who ran on. Crisp has taken it on the 50. Now it's probably just out of his wheelhouse, but he's pointing and making gestures towards the top of the square. Delivers the ball in that direction. Hoskin Elliott with some superb body work against Brandon Ellis. How about that? He was out of position and still took the mark 30 out directly in front.
He's got that ability. When you can jump in the air and you've got, like Hoskin Elliott can, you actually sense when they're coming, so you just jump early, so they give you that little sit. It's perfect.
Oh, he took that beautifully. Comes in from 45 and misses to the left.
Just on Markov, he's a great pickup for Collingwood on the half-back line. Their work rate, he just creates so much work and so much energy, so much space and leverage going forward.
Powell kicks out from goal here for the Suns. Gives it a whack toward the western wing. Out to a 2-on-2. Cox up in front. Down to Crisp, who left Ainsworth in his wake. Crisp still going here. Hand pass to Josh Dacos. Overcooks the kick slightly here for Quaynor. Has to go and retrieve it now. Quaynor gets the hand pass, though, tidily off to Noble. And now Frampton running by. The two Blondies combined. Going inside forward 50. Mac Andrew back with a flight. Out the drop, though. The hand pass comes from Lipinski to Harvey Harrison. He's got options off half forward. Hospital was one of them, and Ellis got there first. And now Mychek pouncing the loose football here for the Pies. All the way back here for Noble. He'll retreat back to the wing for Frampton on the outer logo. It's the Pies by 58 points.
So Billy Frampton enjoying his time at the Pies. Comes into the corridor. Chips it to Darcy Moore. Phenomenal figure. His 16th disposal. The quarterback and the director of traffic. Comes in, launches it. Cox had to check his run, and that allowed Ballard to float in front of the pack and take a nice intercept mark for the Suns. He's very good in the air, Charlie Ballard. He was tested earlier against Jamie Elliott when the ball hit the deck. He gave it to Atkins. Atkins takes it further out to left half back to former Tiger Brandon Ellis. He wants to play on. He goes long. Lukosius direction. Who wins out? Boundary line or Lukosius? Lukosius... boundary line. It's out of bounds on the full. And Collingwood will play on through Frampton and Dacos with disposal number 28, if you don't mind.
Now, full-time midfielder, Nick Dacos. Or so it seems. High ball towards half forward. 2-on-2. Slap down here into the path of Crisp. She has a hand pass to Pendlebury. It was a little awkward there by hand as the Gold Coast defence provided some pressure on Mychek. Bursting away again here, Atkins. Gets away from Pendlebury, good pace. And now kicks here into the bullseye for Holman. Runs onto it now from pressure from Murphy. Slaps it away here. It's with the legs of King. Turns tackler on Quaynor. And the Pies win the football again through Isaac Quaynor. Back to the 2-on-1. Bounced off the chest of Harrison. Shares it now with Noble. Forward of halfway. Fires it by hand back to Nick Dacos. Goes searching inside forward 50. And Elliott leads to the pocket. And takes the chest mark, 35 out.
What a kick, what a kick. He had got a handball receive, I think it was Noble outside him, but he just backed his kick, it was just a bullet on his chest.
Off one step, mind you, too. Full pace.
It's only very early in this final term. Collingwood can recover some momentum here. Jamie Elliott's kicked 4 goals so far tonight, all of which were in that first half. A good set shot kick as well. He crosses the boundary line in the right forward pocket. Same place from where Ainsworth nailed one earlier. It's across the face this time though for the Pies, and it's a minor score only. 14-12-96 for the Gold Coast Suns, who are 5-7-37. Seeing the images there of Jordan Agoe waiting. I think he's down in the race somewhere. Looking dejected. He's back next week, Jordan Agoe, Pies fans. I'm sure they're well aware of that. 5.5 gone final term.
It's not bad when you're at your opposition home ground and your star player who's not playing gets a round of applause and a cheer that goes across the crowd. It's amazing. They bring it to the Pies fans. They bring the atmosphere, and boy, their team brought the heat tonight. They are torching the Suns. So Will Powell, he's got it at centre half back. There's really not a lot of movement in front of him. He tries to pinpoint the pass to Ainsworth. Josh Dacos read it from 50 metres away, sprinted, got a fist in, pushed it over the boundary line right in front of us, and we will get a throw in. And a couple of Collingwood players run the extra 50 to 100 metres to get to him, just to pat him on the back. That's culture. That's why they're playing footy like that.
While they're on top, 6.5 gone final term. It's a free kick here for a high tackle going Gold Coast's way. It was Flanders who was dealt with. Well, takes the advantage. And now Swallow paid the mark on the wing nearest to us western side. 59 points the Collingwood lead. Call to play on now, Dave Swallow. Straightens up, high ball inside 50. Casbolt crashes the pack. At the drop, Weller brought down by Murphy. The umpire says, holding the ball. Saying he had prior.
That's a bit harsh, that one.
Ran straight to Nathan Murphy. It wasn't a lot of time he had, but nothing else. He despairingly throws the ball back to Murphy as Nick Dacos brings it beyond defensive 50. He was put down after the fact as well by Weller. And that'll be a 50 or a free kick downfield here for the Pies.
Yeah, that was a frustration 50. You were watching the play, Spriggy. I was watching Lockie Weller make a beeline. As soon as he got rid of the ball, he dropped him like a suitcase. Now Collingwood bring him back into the corridor. John Noble, that's 52, should it be? Roses knocked the ball, fair dinkum out of John Noble's hands. Anyway, he gets away with it. Very fortunate. Noble now. How does Nick Dacos get 30 metres by himself at left half forward?
I watched him work and no one checking him, no one running with him.
He's dead set got a stink. Nobody will run near him. From 80 metres, lace out to Cameron. Nicely controlled down to ground level. Beautifully rowed by Anderson and got the handball to Powell. He's tackled. He's gone. He's holding the ball. He even got lifted up in the air to show the umpire the ball is stuck to me. But Bo McCreary, you mentioned it before, Jeff White. The guy has got a work ethic and he's as tough as old boots. He's got the free kick and he 45-degree angle to the left, outside 50. Might just be out of range. He sees Cox move to the top of the square, puts it in that direction. Cameron behind him. Oh, and the mark dropped. Picked up by Cameron. The ruckman snaps and goals. Oh, great work from the big fella. Collingwood get their 15th. They've cracked the ton. 15-12-102 plays 5-7-37. 65-point margin in favour of Collingwood here at Carrara.
I'm not sure how. I don't think he was sure how the ball ended up in his hands there, Pricey. The ball was kicked in nicely there. It was a massive pack here. He thought it went over the back. I think Mychek was the one who tried to take the hanger. Ball just fell on his lap from his ball and whacked on his left foot.
Collins. Looked like Collins had the mark and
he dropped it.
He just dropped it.
Took it off
Actually, when he come down, it's dropped straight in Darcy's hands.
I know you've got sympathy for the pitfalls of State League footy, Matt Primus, but I've just been handed a scoreboard which is from the WAFL, and East Fremantle have beaten the West Coast Eagles seconds, and this is obviously playing into why West Coast is so bad they lack a depth. 33-17, 215 to 4-7-31. So there you go.
And Matty Primus said that East Fremantle are fifth on the ladder.
Yes, it's not as if they're playing one of the top teams, you know.
I'm well aware of that, where the Sharks are. Boy, here we go. 65 points is the Collingwood lead here, meantime. Gold Coast win the clearance. McPherson didn't know they were fifth, though, I must admit. Will Powell marks on the wing.
Yeah, that's dire, isn't it? I think they've got two of their listed players, and then because of those rules, where their top-ups come from is a lot longer, lower level below the VFL.
Mac Andrews shrugs the Mitchell tackle. Kept going here for Anderson. Picked up the loose ball. It was pressure, though, coming from Markov. Numbers in defence here in black and white jumpers. Murphy and Cameron, the goal kicker, and now Noble off here to Frampton. Lays it off by hand to Maynard, and Collingwood are away again.
Oh, he hits Crisp, who had the dive to his left. Low to ground level. Take the mark. He did well, Jack Crisp.
I've gone on about a lot tonight, but the sides that are up there in the top four are really good below their knees. Tonight, I've just absolute outstanding from Collingwood.
Just the skills.
In that passage of play, the ball was on the ground a couple of times, and then whoosh.
It's the cleanliness and the one-touch footy. It is next level.
Just broke it all up.
Tom Mitchell, former Brownlow medalist, kicks it in the Cox direction. Cameron as well. There's been a push out. It's going to actually go to Darcy Cameron. Charlie Ballard got into his back and he's got a free kick, 60 from goal. He's got Josh Dacos running for him. He loops around him. The long right foot kick to the goal square. Mychek in front, fisted away there beautifully by Sam Collins with the Dan Mattingly hair over the boundary line. It's going to be a throw in the left forward pocket.
Crowd, by the way, 22,483 in the building, which makes it the third biggest crowd at Carrara ever. And that top three, all Collingwood. So 24,000 in 2014, 23,300 in 2011, and 22,483 here tonight. As I say, a couple of Collingwood fans, or potentially 1,000 or more, were left back in Melbourne due to an airline disappointment as Elliott can snap here from 40 out. One for the thumb, Jamie Elliott. Collingwood back up by 71. 16-12. 108 to 5-7-37, and this absolute rout continues here on the Gold Coast.
I tell you what is impressive, what probably doesn't get talked about much, but Collingwood's work rate to outnumber. So while you mentioned the ball on the ground, but their handballs, I don't know how many they've had probably 200 handballs tonight or something, but their ability, every time somebody's under pressure, there's an outlet, and that's only purely based on mids going back to support their backs, mids going to support their forwards coming up the ground. It is really impressive, their work rate.
148 to 86 in the handball department. They're plus 62 in that, and plus 15 in the kicks.
Yeah, it's great to watch their effort to outnumber and always give an outlet to their teammates.
Well, there's premiership favouritism. And the reasons why. We're watching the reasons why, and you're listening to it on Grandstand AFL at the moment. They are scintillating to watch. Darcy Cameron into the path of Josh Dacos, who got the handball away, cut off there by the Suns, picked up by Swallow. He tumbles it inside 50. Darcy Moore in front position. The half volley. The half volley is dead set gone. 5 metres. 5. And it's taken by Ben King on the chest. Even Darcy Moore, who's too articulate to deliver it as emotionally as I. Anyway, Ben King gathered the ball, which travelled 5 metres, and he's going to have a shot from 50.
How can you pay that umpire?
That's pretty ordinary.
Absurd.
He's standing 5 metres from the arc, and he took it on the arc. Anyway, Ben King deserves a bit of luck. He's only had the 5 touches tonight. From the arc of 50, he strikes it nicely. It fades to the right, though, one behind. 108 plays 38. 70 points the margin. Pies flying high on the Gold Coast. It's done.
Seen a few fans head to the exits, get a head start on things at Surfers Paradise or something like that.
If you've ever had to travel the M1, Spriggy, you'd be doing the same if you could.
Well, yeah. Well, if you're a Gold Coast local, absolutely. I'm thinking some of the Pies fans might be just
go to the casino, Spriggy, I reckon.
Quainer thumps it long toward the western side here. It's off hands for Lipinski. Plays on now towards his attacking flank, but coming out to take the chest mark is Will Powell, who's been among their best tonight. He's had plenty of the football by virtue of the fact that it's been down there a lot. Will Powell, 22 touches, 7 marks for him as they swing it across the half-back line here at the Suns. Short kick from Ballard to centre half-back. Fiorini on the angle now for Atkins, who can wheel and go. Forward of halfway with Holman. Pies by 70. Can the Suns find one here? Holman goes high inside. 15. Darcy Moore, strong grab. Watched it through the air, back into the pack with no real concern for his own safety. Takes the mark and plays on quickly here across the full-back line now for the Pies.
Great call, Spriggy. No concern for his safety there. Went backwards into the pack. What a mark. Dacos brings it back towards, just in front of full forward, Nathan Murphy. And he takes his time too. Not a lot of movement in front for him. They've got this game completely in their control, the Pies. Long kick towards the wing off the hands of Cameron. Front and square there, Mitchell. How he got that handball away, it was magnificent. The Lipinski back to Josh Dacos. He bites one off into the corridor. He knew Adams had the measure of Atkins. He dropped the mark but went back, got the ball. Handball to Pendlebury. It was the no-look variety. Pendlebury tumbles it inside 50, gathered by Elliott. He's gathered by Sam Collins, who and made him lose the ball. Suns will gather it now through Will Powell. Couple of bounces up to the commentary wing to centre half forward over the head there of Lukosius. Roving Roses had his pocket picked by Murphy. Enter Moore, gathers. Roses tackles him into the ground. It's let loose. The Suns with a chance. Anderson gathers. Flanders from 30. Flanders has a ping. He hits the post. They can't buy a trick, the Gold Coast Suns. 39 plays 108, 69 points the margin.
Apart from a little glimpse in the third term, they've been unceremoniously, soundly beaten in this game. They've shown no real effort across most of the game. A hot start for the Magpies has sort of rolled on through most of this evening's proceedings. We'll come back here on the kick-up. When it was a little quick off the mark, I think, before Tom On was going back on. So our umpire, John Howard, sets him again. Quainer plays on beyond defensive 50. Out the one-on-one. Mac Andrew from behind on Cameron. Out the back goes swooping through Bobby Hill. Has room to bounce on the wing. Now a second bounce. Nick McGraw style. Gets the hand pass off here towards Mychek. Sends it across the face of goal. Mason Cox with the fingertips. Couldn't quite reel it in. Ballard gathers here in defence for the Suns. Gets it away here for Long. Hand pass off now Rowell. They can rebound. As it arrives to Fiorini, he can just flare it wide to left half back where it's marked by McPherson.
Bit unselfish there, Brody Mychek. I thought he was well entitled to have a ping himself.
He tried to put it to the right side of him, but it was a bit too low for him.
No ball. Oh, great spoil. Killed the contest. Fiorini waiting for the ball smashed over the boundary line. On the Nerang River side.
He's been brilliant tonight, Noble. He's dashed from the half back, him and Markov.
26
great balance.
Yeah, 26 disposals, Whitey.
Off the half back line, too.
Off half back line.
And to think the ball's been forward of centre majority of the time.
Both Maynard and McCreary getting attention on the bench. So Collingwood bench now down to 2 officially.
McCreary is trying to block. I think it's a cork.
So they throw in the outer side. Atkins, the sub, comes back to Anderson. It's a long kick inside 50 for the Suns. Off hands Quainer. Beautifully done. Roved his own ball. Sweeping handball off to Nick Dacos for disposal 33, which is perfect. Lipinski gathers. He's tackled immediately though. He's buried into the arc and the logo on that arc, and we'll get a ball up.
Speaking of backs, Pricey, Quainer would have had a pretty good game too. Numbers-wise, he's certainly been identified pretty early on how good his run and carry is. 23. Yeah. And interesting too, Tom Mitchell, 28 disposals, but he's had 600 metres gained. Not usually his go, the long distance.
69 points is Collingwood's lead. From the stoppage on the outer side, Lipinski brings it away. Shares it with Nick Dacos. That's possession number 34 for him. Overrun here, though, by Taylor Adams. Goes to retrieve it now. Gets up. He was legged by Holman. Umpire says a free kick and advantage paid. Noble fires the hand pass back here for Josh Dacos. Straightens up 45 from goal. Options have plenty down there. And it's plucked by Will Hoskin-Elliott. Top of the square. And a chance for Collingwood's 17th major coming up here as we approach time on final turn.
You just got to love their slingshot footy from the half-back line. They run in numbers, they use the ball extremely well, and then they just create so many options going on forward because the forwards work for each other.
Well, Hoskin-Elliott kicked the winning goal last week to effect. It's not quite as tight this week. That is his first of the night. 17-12, 114 the Pies. The Suns are 5-9-39. Margin back out to 75 Collingwood's way. And there's confirmation of the attendance, 22,483 here. The third biggest Gold Coast Suns home crowd at Carrara ever. And all those top 3 involve Collingwood.
Yep. That's someone said on Twitter then when Collingwood is going to sell it as a home game because of the numbers.
Well, they do. Well, a lot of people whinge about, Collingwood get this, Collingwood get that. But they bring it. Yeah. They bring the thousands and passionate thousands.
And that's a disappointing thing, isn't it, Pricey, the performance from the Suns today? Because everyone wants to play against Collingwood. Everyone wants those big blockbuster games.
You've got to bring it when they bring it.
Yeah.
Back into the middle. Towed forward by Darcy Cameron, tracked back by Matt Rowell with the flight. Couldn't quite take it, but he's still battling. Handball back to Noah Anderson, who's battled on. This is his 34th disposal. Kicks it forward, off hands, Darcy Cameron Rose. Handball back to Frampton. He tries to measure a kick. It's cut off by Ellis. Back into the corridor. There's a chance. There's a couple of Suns. One of them's Bailey Humphrey, who gathers. Handball to Jared Witts. He looks left. Finds somebody he likes in Lukosius. Now he's 60 from goal. Why not have a ping, son? He doesn't. He finds somebody he likes in the pocket, and that's pinpoint kick. That is one of the delightful things about Jack Lukosius' skills. He's got them everywhere, and he drops it on a dime for Roses to take it on the boundary line. He'll have a shot from 35 out. The young product from Darwin. Had a quiet night tonight. 11 goals, 13 through the year, and only his 7th disposal. The outside of the left shoe, it's a bit thin. It's one behind. 5-10, the Suns. So 114 plays 40. 74 points the margin in favour of the Pies late in the second term.
Well, they're not overhaul that lead, but there's left a few chances out there, haven't they?
Yep.
Still a long way back, 74 points, regardless of where they'll miss. It's not been a close run thing. Pendlebury kicks out here. Beyond defensive 50 for the Pies. And it's onto the chests of Collins. Then pass back to McPherson. Pops it back inside the arc now and waiting for it. Now taking the mark is Fiorini. Goes inside forward 50. Sprawl from Murphy on Weller. Mopped up in defence. Noble just been tireless all night for the Collingwood side as Nick Dacos runs by. Finds Myercheck on the logo western side. Dummies the hand pass and just holds the Sherrin for a moment. Brody Myercheck. He'll be goalless again, by the way. Not that it's any real sort of measure on his impact or Collingwood's performance, but goalless for a third time in this.
Still got 5 minutes to go there, Spriggy.
Sorry? Is he going to just go down there and just sort of put himself front and centre?
He's heard you.
He's got the ball off to Lipinski, so Lipinski can load up now on the entry. Looking for an option. One of them's Myercheck, but Mac Andrew takes intercept chest mark at centre half back to the Suns.
Yeah, the kick favoured him, but he read it well. He puts it back into the corridor and Nicely taken there by Noah Anderson. Copped one for his trouble. Andrew kept running. Anderson played on. A little sand wedge to his mate in Matt Rao. Spoiled by Pendlebury. Rao goes back. Buffett's Dacos out of the way and gets knocked legged as he goes to get the ball. So on centre wing, Matt Rao, who's fought his way back into the game. He's had his colours lowered slightly by the other midfielders, but he's ended up with 9 clearances in this battle. Comes forward with the kick. Spoiled was Fiorini by Noble. Dacos gathers and then spins. Even Matt Primus was gobsmacked by that. The ball spins in front of John Noble. He tumbles it to half forward. Elliott spoils. McPherson rose for the Suns. He gave it back to Collins and he measures a floater that actually landed into the chest of Will Powell.
Powell kicks inboard now for Fiorini. Goes on quickly, back to Powell running by. A squib kick towards half forward. Lukosius in the contest with Murphy. Mopped up by Pendlebury. Off here to Markov, the former Sun. Little 1-2 by Handon Mitchell. From the centre circles now, the middle of Carrara. He goes towards half forward. It was an awful effort from Charlie Ballard. In the meantime, on the overlap, Hospital gets the hand pass off here. And they can finish through Taylor Adams, who joins the party for the Pies. Another unique goal kicker for them. Back out to an 80-point break. 18-12-120 to 5-10-40. It's been just the most classy performance from Craig McRae's Collingwood for win number 13 coming up, 24-goal and final term.
I've really been impressed with their ability to slingshot off the half-back tonight.
It's great, isn't it? And they can do it all different methods, whether it's a handball chain or a beautiful kicking chain, and the handball receives. And you know how good they go. Markov, who can normally... He can make some mistakes and blues with ball in hand, but even his kick back across his body through the middle, which opened it up, their whole team is full of confidence.
But it's kick off the line, Spriggy, you know?
11 different goal kickers as well, so the critters are quite... Well, that's half the team, and it could yet be a game-high margin here, so we're 80 points and it was as high as 84.
For Gold Coast fans who don't understand why Oleg Markov was let go and almost quit footy until Craig McRae phoned him and said, let's join the Pies, you might be able to give us some answers as Flanders wins a clearance for the Suns, kicks inside 50, Quainer, good spoil, front and square Roses, roves nicely, flying shot, bounces wide.
Well, I think with that, Pricey, you go to a program where they're focusing on their skills, they're focusing on their ability to spread. He's a class above what he was last year.
Yes.
And his let down last year was the way he delivered the ball off the half-back line. Not tonight.
So they've sharpened that.
Not this year.
I reckon they're coaching him for his strengths. Where at the Suns, because they were losing more than winning, you actually coach what he can't do and what he messes up.
Matt Price and Jeff White on Grandstand AFL wrapping things up here as a little bounce Bobby Hill. Thomas will kick towards half forward. Pick up here from Elliott. 5 goals tonight and counting. Competes hard there against Ben Long. Although numbers in defence here with the Gold Coast Suns. McPherson, chain of hand passes. Powell now to Flanders, well across the left back pocket where Ellis is waiting. 79 points remains Collingwood's lead. It's a nice pass from Ellis to find the chest of Ainsworth behind the wing.
A couple of goals to Ben Ainsworth tonight. Only the seven disposals though, and he wants to go back across half back to find Ballard. The Pies have set up magnificently in front. They've done it all night. Restricted the movement of the Suns. He chips it to the point of the centre square. It's with Sam Flanders. Chips it just the required distance to Lukosius on the outer side. He wants to just go straight down the line. Why not? In the Ben King direction. And it's the kind of night that Ben King has had. He's an exquisite talent, but Billy Frampton just outpointed him there. Took the defensive mark right on the arc of 50, and the Pies will repel yet again. They're leading by 79 points.
Former Power and Crow goes toward the outer side. Power player, Crow, goes off here. It's socket forward by Ellis. Can the Suns keep it moving? Rowell wins the football here. As he puts it high inside forward 50 for his 20th disposal. It's a turnover again down Billy Frampton's throat.
So Frampton and Darcy Moore, and you put in Howe there as the intercept markers. And then you got the Markov and John Noble as the dashing half-backs.
It's late in the game, but Braden Maynard officially scratched from the game. He's not coming back, and McCreary's still getting attention on the bench. So their bench is down by 2. If the ball gets held up on the outer side, we'll have a ball up. Umpire throws it up. Mason Cox got it down to ground level. Noble, Flanders back to Atkins by hand. to Bailey Humphrey. The long kick from Bailey Humphrey from 60. He launched it. It made the distance. It just went to the left of the goalpost for one behind. So 120 plays 43, 78 points the margin.
McGoey signing autographs in the players' race. Short kick to Quainer in the left-back pocket. Well, the challenge was laid down for these plucky Suns, but tonight on the Gold Coast, it's been a total solar eclipse as the Magpies flex their premiership muscle to the tune of 78 points. The Gold Coast Suns never led. It was Collingwood from the outset, 4 goals to none in the opening term. 26 points was the quarter-time margin. 62 after a blistering second term. That was 7 goals to 1. 57 points at the final change. The margin was as high as 84 points midway through the third term before the Gold Coast Suns hit back. And in the end, it's a 78-point margin in the end. 18-12-120 to 5-12-42. Collingwood outclassed, outmastered the Gold Coast Suns here at Carrara.
Collingwood forever. They know how to play the game. Side by side they stick together to uphold the Magpies' name. See the barricades are shouting as all barricades shout. Oh, the premiership's a cakewalk for the good old Collingwood.
In the end, goal kick is for the Pies. 5 for Jamie Elliott, his best return this year. His best return for a couple of years, in fact. Bobby Hill, Billy Frampton each kicked 2. Singles for Noble, Markov, Lipinski, Hoskin Elliott, Nick Dacos, Jack Crisp, Mason Cox, Darcy Cameron and Taylor Adams. 11 different scorers on the board for the Pies. Meanwhile, for the Gold Coast Suns, this is nice and easy. 2 for Matt Rowell. Each were in the third quarter. 2 for Ben Ainsworth, and the first goal was to Hawago Oya, who was subbed out at half-time. The Collingwood sub was made, Jeremy Howe. It was just a precautional tactical, but they did see Braden Maynard and Bo McCreary finish the game on the bench as well. As far as Collingwood are concerned, they win here by 78 points. It's their 13th win of the season, and a percentage booster as well. Not that it mattered for them because they still had the best percentage by far. And for the Gold Coast Suns, now 7 wins, 8 losses. They're now 3-3 at home this year as the blowtorch continues on Stuart Dew, a year and a half out from the conclusion of his contract. The Gold Coast Suns trudge off their own deck here at Carrara in front of their third biggest home crowd ever at this venue. The Pies by 78 points. As Matt Primus and Jeff White can summarise it for us on Grandstand AFL.
Well, it was a wonderful display from Collingwood. Used the ball extremely well. Ran in numbers. Their pressure was outstanding. Forward and behind as well. Their tackles, ground balls. I mean, you go through the whole list. It wasn't a weak link in their side tonight. They really matched up really well. I was really impressed with the way they linked up from the half-back line. They've won by 80 points, and John Noble's had, 27, 28 possessions off the half-back. It just shows the work rate, the effort to push through, cut the lines, just to be able to link up play going into their forward 50. And it was an outstanding effort by Collingwood tonight. They're really impressed with the way they just went about it. And the 4 quarters, there's a little bit of a patch there in the third quarter, but they obviously addressed that in the last quarter to get back to that 80-point margin where they were at the start of the third quarter.
That wasn't even a patch, it was a patchette. Yeah. It was like 5 scoring shots in a row. And
it was near the end of the third quarter, wasn't it?
They just put the queue in rack for a few minutes, but scintillating football. I don't want to keep banging on about it. Okay, the Gold Coast Suns, I thought they were pretty ordinary tonight. Their efforts were ordinary, but the Collingwood team, it's the second time we've got to see them live in South East Queensland this year. They move the ball like nobody else. When they're on, they're just sharp, they're skillful. They went at above 65%. for efficiency inside 50, just generating shots. It was too easy. So was it all Collingwood, or was it a good chunk of the Pies' brilliance and the part of the Suns stinking it up? I've got this sinking feeling in my guts for Stewie Dew right now. I think the media, so far, they've got the quiver loaded, and arrows are going to be coming for Stewie Dew all over the place after tonight's game, because that effort was putrid.
Well, I think the timing with, with a certain someone saying that he's still hungry for coaching.
And that's the other narrative.
Happened this week, but
Damien Hardwick, who didn't mind it being far away from home here when COVID was happening, we saw in the doco and everything. So it could be a welcome home for him on the Gold Coast. But I don't want to sharpen the knives for a man with his job like Stewie Dew. I respect the guy, and I think he's working hard. But where else do you go after that? That was horrible when they had the chance.
No one would have been able to beat Collingwood tonight. The way they played. The way they played tonight was outstanding.
But they were deer in the headlights.
There was no turnover.
It was super impressive, and the disappointing is all week, and speaking for the guys up here on the Gold Coast, it was a talk of the Suns, where we've now got a team ready to push deep into the home and away season to make the 8, and Dewey saying I'm the man to take it, and the players saying we think we're good enough and mature enough and experienced enough and all that stuff to come to the 8. So it was built up, and then they've just turned in an insipid performance, and that was like Sydney round 2 out here. That was the insipid performance they've had. So that's where the criticism will come. Hang on, if you think of this, why are you coughing up this? And there is no reason. Their list is as healthy as anyone's in the AFL. They're playing on their home deck. They come off a great win last week against Hawthorn. Previous week was the bye, so there's no excuses. And Collingwood are very good, but the Suns were very poor.
There have been false dawns before with the Gold Coast Suns, as you alluded to, Pricey, and that's the question. To have that pressure, though, on the coach, you need, I guess, the passionate fan base. It's a small football community here on the Gold Coast, and as to whether the time has come to affect that change or lay a mark down for the next few weeks as far as what Stuart Dew needs to do to keep his job, is that pressure there from this particular fan base?
I'm not sure if it's the fan base, Matty. From everywhere else, case in point, in Melbourne, if let's say any Melbourne club that was in that position came off the field after that performance, getting clapped off the field, standing over. I'm not into booing your players off the field. I think that's rubbish. But they were warmly clapped off the field by the supporters. Now, that's not going to happen if you're playing for Essendon, Hawthorn, stuff like that. They're too nice, perhaps. I don't know. Is that part of it?
I think the fan base is sick of them not being good enough. But I think it's more they're bored, and they've got some pretty high-performing footy staff and their CEO and footy manager and those things. That's where the pressure's coming from, because this club, as I mentioned last week, they have the biggest list size in the AFL. They've been given draft picks. They have great facilities. They've been given a lot of things, and it should be turning into something. And at the moment it doesn't, but they can turn that around. But the next 3 weeks are the important ones for mine. Port Adelaide in Adelaide, as hard as it gets anywhere to play, and then St Kilda, who will be fighting to stay in the top 8 the week after that. If the performances don't improve after that, then the heat's going to be
part of the narrative is about the Gold Coast Suns, the fact that the lights just burned a bit too bright for them tonight, and they disappointed on the big stage. But before we farewell our audience off to Essendon versus Port Adelaide at the MCG, the Pies, and do you see them? Do you see Collingwood being stopped? Are they it for you as far as flag favourites?
No, I think there's a game style, like I alluded to pre-game. I've got egg on my face. There's a game style that can limit. You can't stop them. It can limit the way they play. It is bloody hard to do. There's not many teams that can do it, but there are a couple. But the way they keep coming at you, they're always in games, hence why they've come back from margins all the time at three-quarter time. But they're one of the top 2 or 3 teams that definitely can win it. But I reckon there's a couple of teams out there that have a game style that can counteract it. Can you do it for 4 quarters? That's the really hard thing to do against this mob.
What impresses you most about the Pies, Jeff White?
Just the ability to be so clean. The way they work in their numbers, work rate. Foot skills are unbelievable, and they just the connection they have off the half back line. They just are carving. They just carved up the Suns tonight. The Suns didn't know where to look, didn't know how to defend, and it made them look second rate tonight. But they were just so clean, and they switched the ball at the right time. If there was play down the skinny side, they would immediately switched to the other side. The work rate, the ability to spread, they just outworked them tonight.
I think, and Whitey nailed it on the head, I think that we all love the ball movement and the goals, and that's what we all come to footy for, whatever. We want to watch the scoreboard tick over, but apart from St Kilda under Ross Lyon, they have the least scores against Collingwood. So defensively and toughness-wise, they're as good as anyone in the competition. I reckon that gets looked over because of how slick they are in their foot skills and the scores they can kick and the comeback victories. But defensively, they're as good as anyone, and that is what holds you in good stead to win flags at the end of the year.
78 points their win over the Gold Coast Suns here today. And as is tradition here at Carrara, they've got chariots of fire going because they blow the siren and you can enter the field of play, and everyone races toward the middle. And there's a few there's security there in the high-vis jackets which have tried in vain to stop some overzealous punters from going to the middle of the it's a roped off area, but they didn't stop a few punters from getting there anyway. And they're all decked out in their black and white. Collingwood fans, most of them here, among the 22,483, the crowd, the third biggest crowd by the Gold Coast Suns at Carrara, and all three of those best ever crowds are against the Pies. It's no coincidence. And they keep their fans very happy here. 78-point winners, 18-12 to 5-12-42 for win number 13 this year. Winners earlier today, Adelaide beat North Melbourne by 66 points at Adelaide Oval. Isaac Rankin kicked 5 goals, while at Docklands, the Western Bulldogs beat Fremantle 16-6, 102 to 11-7, 73. 29 points was the margin there. The Bulldogs winners off the bye. The footy continues for those on local radio in most parts of Australia. We're off to Essendon and Port Adelaide at the Melbourne Cricket Ground next, so enjoy that if you are leaving us now from Carrara.